Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special, topically competitive edition of Monster Party.
Monster Party! It's monstrous!
Monster Party!
It's huge! It's got everything!
It's overflowing with fun.
Fun, thrills!
We like fun.
Thrills and excitement. And speaking of thrills and excitement, who are you, sir?
I am Matt Weinhold.
I am Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry Strothe.
And I'm James Gonis.
And this episode is
I can't
the return of many great things, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is. We did this about a year ago.
Yeah. This is a special topic because it's many topics.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know what you're going to get. It's a grab bag.
Anything can happen.
We did an episode called Topic Free-for-All.
Topic free-for-all, which
where
was fun.
It was so great.
Yeah.
And basically what we did is we have this plastic skull.
Yep.
And we each wrote down a bunch of different topics.
Yes.
Like mini topics.
Mini
kind of,
topics.
like,
Maybe
yeah.
you possibly could fill out a full episode,
Yeah.
but we might be padding a little bit. With this, there's no padding.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And so we put all these topics in the skull, take one out at random,
Yeah.
and then riff.
And we were having such a great time. But, Matt, if you recall, we didn't get through all the topics.
No, that's right. We had a lot left over.
There's a
So what
lot,
we
yeah.
did is, with these topic ideas, I put them in a sealed bag.
Secrets.
That's
Yes.
right. And so they haven't been looked at
Al
in
Capone's
over
vault.
a year.
Yeah, they're in carbonite.
And
Yeah.
yes. And so what we did
Carbonite,
is
get it?
we got
'Cause it's
together.
Star Wars.
And we threw in a few more, so we've got some new ones with
New
some
ones,
old
some
ones
old ones.
mixed up.
And we have no idea what they are.
No.
No.
But Matt, who do we have to help us get through this amazing show?
Well, the past show went so well
It
that we
did.
thought, why fuck with fate? Let's bring that guest back.
Yes. Yes.
And this guy, oh my God, to say that he is just a friend of mine would be underselling the whole thing. This man is an icon. He is a mentor. He is the wind in my sails.
He's incredibly talented.
a writer, comedian. We've worked on so many things. We worked on Beware the Batman.
Beware
We
the Batman.
Cool.
2 episodes, but he's worked on all kinds of other things. Scooby Doo, Duck Dodgers, the Martin
Cool.
Short Show, the
my
Andy Dick
God.
Show. Oh my God.
Who is our guest?
Our guest is the wonderful and fabulous John Matta.
John Matta!
John Matta. I'm bringing it back again. Every 14 months, I'm back on the Monster
Right.
Party.
Mr. Napkin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go to your bookie right now. I don't know exactly what you're going to bet on, but you'll figure out something. Bookies will work with you.
But Matt, in addition to this amazing guest, we have someone else with us.
Another
correct.
treat.
Indeed.
Yes. This is also a return guest.
Yes.
And this is, once again, another old friend. Just to say friend once again doesn't do her justice.
Nope,
We had her on when she was giving such a lovely tribute to her father.
Yep.
That's right.
Who was in the original Last House on the Left.
Yes.
Right.
Gaylord St. James.
Yep.
That's right.
And our co-guest here
Yep.
is the wonderful, the beautiful, my dear, dear friend, Jolene Towers.
Jolie Towers!
It's really hard to find a reason to have me on.
No, not at all. You bring class to our show.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, we were like, look, what does this show need?
Great elegance.
Yeah.
Beauty.
John brings wit and sophistication. We need class. We need elegance. We need intelligence.
But most important, we need someone to help us. Pull,
I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what Jolene is going to do is she is going to help us pick the topics from the plastic skull.
Ooh, like a
like-
regular game show.
She's like the
Yes.
official skull picker.
Yes. Yeah. It's a union job, right? It's if you're in the skull pickers union, you're doing very well.
See the top of the skull. It's more like the skull fister than the skull picker.
Oh,
Hey, look, you know what?
Or a skull bucket.
Do
I
with
guess you
it
could call
what you will, is what I say.
will.
Yeah.
well, I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
We're ready to go
Let's
here.
do this.
All right. So
So, Jolene, if you don't mind, Put your
reaching.
hand in the skull head.
Dig around.
Fisting a
Digger,
skull.
fist the skull.
I'm so nervous.
It's kind of dry.
Okay, she's picked out her
She's
topic,
picked out a
folks.
topic, and she is now going to read
Oh
the
my
topic.
gosh.
Where's that toy or action figure?
Huh. Now we've
Yes.
kind of done this before.
Yes, yes.
We did.
Good night, everybody.
Well, just look. We
Just-
can.
wait a minute. Let me guess. Is this one of yours?
No, it is not.
Oh,
it is
okay.
not. No. Just because it has something to do with a toy doesn't mean that I did it.
Wait.
But I can interpret this. Whose question is this?
Not mine.
It's not mine.
It's not mine.
Oh, this might have been an old one.
I
It's
think
an
it's
So
an
we
old one.
talked
Well, let's see.
about
Let me take a
this.
look at it. Let me see.
Yeah.
Whose writing is this?
Oh, that's mine.
Oh, what? Tell you what.
Wow. Blame comes full circle.
Well, look. I tell you what. Really quickly.
Jumped in Larry's mouth and jumped back
Jump
out again.
right back out again. Now, right now, I'm just huddling in a corner.
So
sorry.
So really quickly, what is a toy or action figure that you wish had come out? We can really quick-
Oh, that's what I was wondering what this means.
Oh, you couldn't. Oh,
Where's
I
that
thought
toy?
you lost
Someone
something.
hid, your favorite toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Where I've been missing in my collection a couple Mego figures. I don't know where the fuck they are. If you could find them, that would make some good radio.
Okay, well, that's
Yeah.
not
Because
great.
there's nothing better
start looking.
on a podcast than a scavenger hunt.
Okay, well, I tell you what. Why don't we start with our guest here? So, John, tell us: is there an action figure
Yeah.
or toy that you wish? Why hasn't this been made yet?
Wow. That's the big one. Because it's harder now to find out that everything you think, then you
Yeah.
go to Japan, you went, wait, they're fucking, they're sick with them. You know?
Everything is
Trying
being
to
made.
think.
It is pretty amazing now. Like things that you thought.
Anything from the movie Sneakers. I would enjoy.
Like a die cast Winnebago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would love, or a Ben Kingsley.
From what movie?
Sneakers.
Oh, okay, all
Hey,
right.
I've got one. You know, we've seen all kinds of props and action figures from the Twilight Zone.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing from Night Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
How about Night Gallery figures? There's
Pikmin's model.
Pikmin's model.
Yeah.
And you know what I would also like? I would like a really nicely sculptured, maybe like NECA doing this maybe, of Rod Serling.
yes, I totally
Yeah,
agree with
a
you.
painting.
Has there ever been? I mean, I've seen
like a
gar-
bobblehead,
I've seen
right?
a garage kit too, a model. But yeah, you're right. A regular
Yeah.
figure.
Matt, you are so right. I mean, and it's so funny. Along those same lines, I would love it if there was a company that made an Alfred Hitchcock beautiful figure.
And you have that, right?
James?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And so along those same lines, to do like hosts or directors of TV shows or something like that.
There you go, too.
Yes.
And maybe we talked a little bit about this, but to have a whole line of director action
I
figures.
would love that.
How great would that be?
Yes.
Yeah.
Spielberg.
Wes Craven.
Yeah. Look, I think there's a market for that. I'd buy them.
John Carpenter. Mm-hmm. Actually, when Sean mentioned Winnebago, it made me think Spaceballs.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Those characters.
Have they ever made figures of that?
I don't think they
I'm
have.
surprised because that movie's very popular.
Yeah. That's something else
Dark
that-
Helmet.
NECA could do a good job at this.
Yeah, totally.
I would buy a Jack Kirby.
Okay, a Jack Kirby figure.
Oh,
Jack
Okay.
Kirby, him sitting down drawing something.
yeah,
Okay.
that'd be cool.
I would love that.
Well, that's more like a
because
statue.
every time I see Stan Lee, I get angry.
Genre film
That's
director,
true.
I would
I-
love to have an action figure of. I don't
Who?
know how to pronounce her last name. Lenny Riefenstahl. Oh, you guys know who I'm talking about. I would love to have an action figure of her.
With-
She's an
with-
amazing genre film director.
Sure.
Genre.
Yeah.
It is a genre.
Olympiad and of course Triumph of the Will. There should
All
it
the
should
Holocaust
it,
propaganda.
It should,
for those who don't know.
Sure.
It should come with a little fawning Hitler.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. She was pioneering.
She did all the Nazi
other
propaganda.
films as well. She
I-
did. Yeah.
I get you, but
So,
I about the Hitler figure.
Olympiad, right? Isn't
think
that
so.
Yeah. That was her big Olympic film.
Okay, so you
That's
said
the title.
something. You said okay. So for me, I would say, and I've mentioned this. Sideshow came out with a beautiful creature from the Black Lagoon. What I want is I want a 12-inch Julia Adams in the bathing suit so I can pose her next to my creature. And I do want a
want that
Richard,
too.
and I want a Richard Carlson, a Dr. David Reed,
would be
in his
cool.
swimming trunks
Yeah.
with his.
I can see a whole
area.
set of all those
Yeah.
characters.
And they need to
Yeah.
be 12 inches?
Yeah, they have to be 12 inches, Jolene.
Because-
Sideshow made a 12-inch
Yeah,
picture.
Jolene, come
Sorry.
on.
I'm
Larry
sorry.
is a size queen.
Apparently. Matters more to men than women.
No.
But here's where I agree with him because I also want the 12-inch.
Hey.
I do.
That'd be
Look,
cool. That'd
if
be
you're
cool.
going to do it, do it.
All right, Sean, what about you?
Jump in the deep end.
I don't think I've ever mentioned this before, but I would love a figure of the golem from the movie It.
Yeah.
That's a good
The
one.
60s movie with Roddy McDowall.
Roddy
It's like,
McDowall.
Yes.
I am your master, and it's like this
I
great,
am
like
your
this great. The golem is a really cool, scary, unique creation, and
It's
that
a
they've
great
never made a
sculpt.
figure or
He's-
like even like a statuette.
He's got kind of a long, pointy
yeah,
head.
but he's cool looking.
But I think it has to be a double thing. It has to be the figure with Roddy McDowall.
yeah,
That's
that'd be
great
awesome.
because so far the only actual Roddy figure that I have is the distinctive dummies.
Right, Peter Vincent
Peter
from
Vincent, yeah.
Fright Night,
Which is beautiful.
yeah, it's just
That-
awesome. It comes with the
really
steak
great.
and the mallet, the
Yeah,
wing steak.
but
yeah.
I would love like a young
You're
Roddy
right.
McDowell
That's
figure.
true. They've never. Other than that, you're right. They've
From Hell
never. I
House.
mean, he's been so
Sure.
many genre films. I'm surprised, but
Actually,
you're right.
That It Golem, you could actually probably make yourself if you got some hardening clay and if you were
Yeah, now if it was really
Yeah.
artistic.
If you didn't have anything else to do in your life. Yes,
but yeah,
you
I
could
would love
make
that.
primitive enough, you could get it. You know, you
I
could.
don't know.
Okay,
I'll-
Jolene,
topic number two.
topic
All
number
right.
2.
Dun, dun, dun. Best or worst genre first date movie?
Oh, okay. So it's like if you were to take your significant other to a date, what's a bad movie? Do not
Best
take
and
them.
worst. Wow,
Oh,
I have to think about that.
Or
okay.
best?
I can do best.
Okay.
Okay.
Blue Velvet.
Yes.
When I first
Whoa,
moved
whoa.
to Philadelphia.
Wait, you would take
that's the
a
best
date
one.
to Blue Velvet?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Was that
Because, again, Blue Velvet was the first film I ever saw when I moved to Philadelphia where I went, wait, what the fuck? They're not all like Rambo?
do that sound again?
What the fuck? It was the first time I found out something different and odd. And it was playing in revival houses. So it wasn't the first run when it was coming out. So someone had an idea. And if you went on a date and the person responded to it one way or another, you're going, this might be a very interesting person to hang around
That is
with.
a very,
Oh, I see what you
very
mean,
good
yeah.
point.
Oh,
Sure,
so
sure.
Because it's a weeding out process.
Or a
Yeah.
test. It's a test.
It's a test.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
movie was weird.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Bye.
I don't feel like fries. Let's get out of here. You know?
Oh, okay, James.
Wow.
A best or worst?
Well, for best, I'm thinking of maybe a movie like Halloween or Alien, where if you're taking a first date, part of the appeal is that it's this really scary movie and they're going to grab onto your arm and it gives you a reason to put your arm around them, right?
That's
Sure,
kind of why
sure.
they made horror movies like for drive-ins,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
right, sure.
exactly. And those are also two movies with empowered female heroines. So you could sort of play like, the sensitive male and be like, oh, wow, yeah, I really love
Yeah, I
that
could play
heroine.
that.
Alien, especially Aliens. I think that's a really great
yeah,
choice.
because it's more action oriented. It's not.
There's also
you
more
know,
humor,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that is a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
it?
see, I
Do you
think
have a
you
worse
guys-
one?
Yeah. What would be your worst?
Wow. Jeez. I don't know. I mean, a worse one.
Okay,
might
moving
be-
on.
Yeah, moving
Now.
on.
You sure?
Yeah, that's how we do it, John.
Okay, because I have an actual experience, and then I have another one. Look, you guys are going aliens and Blue Velvet. No, you're taking your lady to a
here we
movie,
go.
and and Jolene.
Oh
go-
my
I thought it was
let's
the
say-
first date. That's not my
first
lady
date.
on a
Mac
first
and
I'm
me.
gonna
date.
take no.
It's Mac and
first
me.
date.
No,
Where are you
no,
going to take me?
The known
You owe me this. I
Listen.
bought you Scampi.
Okay, so if I'm going to take my lady or my first date gal,
First date.
and I'm going to take her to something that's maybe a little genre, but there's a little romance in it. There's a little comedy. There's some thrilling elements.
So afraid.
Ghost.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's a good-
yeah.
I can see
with
that,
Academy
though.
Award-winning Whoopi Goldberg,
Yeah,
and with
okay.
this is
Yeah.
Patrick
Wow.
Swayze.
That seems a
Demi
little
Moore.
planny to me.
Yeah.
Whoa,
yeah.
You know,
What do you mean
I know I'm going to
Little
play this
heavy-handed
with
is a
her.
hard sell.
You know that
Yeah.
scene in Groundhog Day when Bill Murray, he's tried to make his way with Annie MacDowell a number of times.
Yeah.
And finally he gets to that place where he's learned so much about her that he's just overdoing everything. He's like, oh God, I love kids. And like, that's what that movie says.
That's what Ghost seems
Okay,
to me.
see, you know why
Did
you guys...
you love the movie Ghost?
I did.
He does.
I did, sir. I did. I enjoyed it
Then
very
I am
much.
wrong.
I guarantee
I
you
am
he
wrong
loved it.
then.
He loved it.
I did, and let me tell you something.
Yes.
You know, everyone, we all know about Ghost. It's like,
pointed to me.
no. I'm just saying. We've all seen it. It's like, I'm just saying, if it had just come out, I mean, that's the film I'd take my lady to see.
First date.
Yeah, first date, because it shows, hey, I like kind of the supernatural or ghosts or something, but there's some romance in it. Okay, now I'll throw out a bad one because this actually happened to me.
Now I'm happy again.
Okay, so there was
You've heard of scat videos, right?
so there was this
This is a film.
This is the Danny Thomas story.
Okay, come on. There was this young lady that
Sister
I was
Act.
going to. No, is that genre related?
Kind of.
No,
me.
no.
It's nuns. They believe in the supernatural, right?
I took this gal. What I thought was going to be an amazing experience for both of us.
Is this a first date?
It was. Yes, it was. It was
All
first
right.
movie
All
date.
right. Okay.
Okay.
And I took her to see Pink Floyd, The Wall. And
Good movie, but
I-
not
Depends on the girl. I
I
guess.
came out of that movie. I was blown away, and I remember looking at her and go, "That was, oh my God, what did you think of that film?" It was almost, I didn't even say. I said, "Oh my, what did you think of it?" And she looked at me straight in the eye and go, "That was so incredibly stupid." And when she said that, I'm all, you know what? I almost left her there. I was ready to. I thought, okay,
It's like John,
This
though.
is date was
So
over.
that sounds like a good first
That's a
date.
great
So-
first
because
date
you can
movie.
Figure it out right away.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
That's
Jolene,
true.
you bring up a good point.
Yep. Make it that glass can be half full. Doesn't have
like you
to be
said,
half
like,
empty.
like you said, it's like a test. And that was,
Yeah,
that was a
and
test.
it's funny because after that, I mean, she tried to get my attention in high school and stuff, and after that experience, I just really wasn't interested. And then I started to date this other girl, and the first girl came over to me and she said, "Is this your girlfriend?" And I go, "Well, yes, it is." And she goes, "Okay, well, good luck." And then she went to give me a kiss, and then she stuck her tongue in my mouth.
Oh my God,
Thinking
that's
that-
illegal.
No, it was like it totally shocked me. I thought it was like this is gonna be a friendship because she went, ah. And I'm like, whoa.
Wow, you and I come from very different worlds.
Anyway, so first good movie, bad movie. There we go. Sean.
Okay.
I think a good first date movie, something that's kind of genre, but to me, it's like something that's fun, something that involves like a kind of party atmosphere with an audience. I would say a midnight showing of The Apple.
The
Would be a
musical.
good,
Yeah.
it would be a good fun
Jolene-
because it's got
I'm not
music,
familiar.
crazy. It's got music and craziness, and it's cheesy but
Science
entertaining.
fiction,
It's
but it's
science
also
fiction.
kind of supernatural
Yeah,
too, in
yeah.
a weird way.
Yeah.
Well, I think
that would be
any
good.
midnight movie is probably a good first date.
But no, it
Because
depends.
a
No,
first-
because you don't.
first
Like, Eraserhead.
Well, that's all.
It's not. But,
no.
but a fun kind of party, kind of like crazy out there kind of movie, I think is a good.
Well, just because you're out in the middle of the night in a movie theater, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
there's something kind of like edgy and sexy about.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah, the minute you get into the midnight movie, the cult movie, if you're bringing somebody in, going in, knowing that they might be experiencing something that's a little odd,
Right, right.
that helps.
Yeah, yeah.
But now, if we're talking about the weeding out kind of movies, Martyrs,
Wow.
Okay.
yeah,
Martyrs.
yeah, which is a French film that has a lot of crazy, like, if you didn't know where the movie was going, you would describe it as maybe torture porn. Oh. But it's not. There's horrific torturing that's part of the film, but by the end of it, it's a really intelligent...
It's torture love.
It is torture love. It's torture education.
This is a first date.
Now, I
understand.
would say, I'm going to give my wife some big props here because that's one of the reasons why I married her because, we got together and then we both enjoyed science fiction and horror.
Right.
And I brought this movie home and she loves this movie.
Really.
But it's dark.
Yeah.
It's dark and smart. That is the key.
Wow.
And so
and
you got to
smart.
get someone that's on the same wavelength as you. And that's why I really understand, John, your choice. Because, it's a weeding out process. If
see.
someone can take this, then you might have a future with them.
Right, right.
But if I was to play it safe, or safer, let's just say.
Ghost.
No. Hey,
Nice job throwing yourself under the bus.
you know what? I like Ghost. A little bit of whoopee goes a long way, if I may say.
Sure.
But the movie that I would take someone to, that I think you, James, will especially agree, is The Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, but that's a good test though too, because he had to get the twisted kind of comedy humor. to
Twisted
it.
comedy. The songs are catchy, and that's another thing too, because you're hitting a lot of, targets when it comes to the things that we would have in common.
Yeah.
Music, comedy.
It's
a
rock
sensibility,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also something that's a little dated. That's another test. Can you watch something that was
right.
made in the 70s?
Right.
And even if you might think it's cheesy now, do you understand what they were going for? And you could go along on the ride, even though this is something that initially might kind of shock you. Like, what the hell is this?
Well, yes, like you say, your sensibilities and like your capacity to like either you like or don't like super dark humor or just a grisliness, but there's like a edge to it. Like for instance, like Human Centipede may not be the best, or it could be the best ultimate test.
Yeah.
You know, for
My
somebody.
wife loved that movie
Yeah,
too.
my wife hasn't
You're
seen it.
kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's
Yeah.
a good example
So what's
too.
your worst?
Human Centipede.
Actually, I think you might be on to because the minute if
For a
if I
first
said,
date.
if I said to someone we're going to see a movie called Human Centipede, and she said okay,
Right.
well I'm halfway home. right
Okay.
there.
True.
Okay. Now wait a minute. Wouldn't you guys say to your lady? Wouldn't you say? You don't say we're going to. You would say, would you like to see
Okay, right,
this?
sure. No, I'm not
Or
going to
would
force
you like
her
to
to see
see
it.
that?
You're going to see this movie now.
The title of Human Centipede doesn't exactly give warning to...
It doesn't?
Oh,
no.
Well, you kind of have to think about it for a second.
Okay, so I know what it's about, but if I didn't know, I would imagine
Like a
human
Disney
insect,
thing? Like it's
the
a-
Fly, like Jeff Goldblum, like the Fly.
Sure.
That's what I would.
A person that turns into a
sure.
centipede.
I can see what you
Okay,
mean. That's
all
true.
right,
I can
Or
see
it
that.
might,
Yeah.
it might
it's
even
very
be
good.
allegorical, like the human stain. It might be some drama that has nothing to do with insects.
Metamorphosis.
Know,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
Jolene,
Right.
I'm sorry. I take that back.
No, that's a very-
I see your point
Yeah.
because I know about it, and it almost makes me vomit thinking about it.
Sure.
But you're right. If I didn't know anything about it, you're right. It could
I
be.
love insects, so I'd be like, oh, that sounds beautiful.
Do you like sewing?
Yeah, it turns like it would be like that movie Taxi Driver when he took her to the Swedish porn.
Right.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Where,
Well, porn, I think,
But
is
that's
Yeah.
another
but he
Yeah,
thought
that's
he
probably-
was taking her to something that
right
was,
for him. It was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great, Matt. Those are good ones.
yeah.
I'm
Jill,
with, I'm
how
with
about you?
these guys.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in tune with these guys. My first thought was Last Tango in Paris.
Okay, wow, that's,
You would take your date to
As
that?
a good first date, kind of, as a catalyst for conversation, perhaps.
sure.
But
call.
on the flip side of like the worst one, I don't know.
And try to
if
think
it's
of like
genre,
anything
but
that's genre.
I know, but I don't know. I'm going to more sort of dark
Okay.
sexual
What do you
rape
got?
things.
What
I
do you
went to Reversible. Is that what it's called? Reversible?
I've not
You know
seen
what
that,
I'm
but
talking
I've
about?
heard of the film.
Yeah, because that's the flip side. But
Is that Lars
somehow-
Van Trier, that guy?
No, but that's another one I was thinking of. Lars Van Trier. What's the one where the girl cuts her own clit off?
Whoa!
I think it's called A Girl Cuts Her Own Clip Off.
That was called Disney's.
Okay.
Disney's.
It's a
the
studio.
girl
No,
cuts her own clit off.
guys, come on.
What's
Let's.
the amazing actress who's in that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have
you guys?
no.
No,
I can't
I
remember
missed
the
this
name
one.
of
Is it? Okay.
I'm blanking.
Listeners,
It's
That is-
Let's pull up the Lars Van
called,
Trier.
Okay, but let's.
we're going to do a contest.
Okay,
If
so
you know the film,
Okay.
Isn't it called Clitless?
no. Okay.
I mean, in her defense, it was
Alicia
I would-
Silverstone
Will
is
you
in
please look it up so we
everything.
know what we're talking about because I feel horrible. I'm going to say the wrong actress's name. I want to say an actress's name, but I think it's wrong. Is it Lily Tomlin? No. It's
Lily
with William
Tomlin.
Dafoe, maybe, but it's because she feels guilty because the reason she does it, I think, is because of guilt because their baby crawled out a window and died while they were having sex.
Oh.
It sounds like a horror movie.
Wow.
Yeah. Nah, his tear stuff is.
It's good,
Yeah.
and
All right.
heavy and
So,
dark.
so Jolene, just so I understand you correctly,
Yeah.
you're saying
Good luck. Good luck.
as a first date film,
This was bad
you
or
would
good?
either take them to see Last Tango in Paris, this really like forcibly sexual movie, or this other film that is also kind of messed up.
So the movie was called Antichrist, and the actress was Charlotte Gainsbourg. She's amazing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and with William Dafoe, and it's
He's
super
good.
dark.
He's always good.
Yeah.
Any one of his movies actually would be a really great first date movie, I think.
I love him. I really do.
I didn't see the Nymphomaniac movies, but the Bjork one, Dancer in
Yeah.
the Dark, and Melancholia, they're all sort of
Breaking the Waves.
Yeah.
you can really
Yeah.
figure out what a
Kingdom I
person's
really
about.
enjoyed too.
Yeah, his stuff always has, even if it's not outwardly horror, there's a horror vein running
Oh,
through
yeah.
pretty much everything.
It's disturbed.
Because it's so realistic, which is the most horrifying thing, is reality.
Yeah.
Well,
True.
That's true.
all right. So I think we've covered that. I think we covered that topic. Let's
And
Let's
now
go.
I'm fisting the skull again to find out
here
what
we
the
go.
next question is.
Okay. Hey, here she goes. And
What non-genre film would have worked just as well or better as a genre piece?
So
Whoa.
this is mine.
Wow.
So you've got a movie like, let's just pick one right off the top of my head. Interiors.
Right.
Are you sure that wasn't a genre?
Maybe it was and I didn't get it.
It depends on your point of view.
Yeah. You know, you have their interpersonal relationships, but then we find out that one of them is actually possessed by the devil.
Well, there's no way it would have been a better movie.
And so that's what I'm saying is that I think that there are a lot of movies out there that you go, oh, that was okay. You know, The English Patient. You'll go like, all right, well, it's pretty, but
no,
You're
that
saying
was a good movie.
It's a mediocre film that would be better.
yeah, and then, you know what
enhanced if
this
it was
thing
genre.
needs? A giant monster.
And an alien.
Okay.
So you're saying like a non-genre film that if you put a little twist on it,
Yeah.
and to make it genre related.
I got one.
All right, go
I got
for it.
one. Even though it takes place in outer space, Gravity with Sandra
Okay.
Bullock, which was a movie that was very, very well received.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I sat through it and I was just like, this, I don't know. I know it's supposed to be a great movie, but I think it's a little overrated. And I would have paid money. I would have paid money. And this is a spoiler, but when Sandra Bullock lands that shuttle,
Yeah.
I would have paid money to see apes on horseback
I like that.
because I was freaking bored.
I put
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
$400 into that Kickstarter campaign.
Wait a minute. Wait, you were bored
Yeah.
watching Gravity?
Really, I
The
enjoyed
whole
it.
thing. The whole thing. You're like on the edge of your seat.
not
I don't
like-
know this. Is she gonna get to the spaceship?
wouldn't-
Are you
look.
serious?
Not my kind of movie.
I
Wow.
enjoy. I like that movie, but I will.
Yeah, me too.
And I will
Me
say
too.
this. I will say 3D really helped.
That's true.
Sure.
That's
yeah,
true.
It was pretty.
Yeah, but I would
Liked.
also say
Didn't love.
Sandra Bullock is the luckiest human being in all of human history.
Yeah.
The things that happen that she manages to get out of a spaceship that lands on Earth and walk away. Yeah, I was
Oh,
just
sure. I mean,
I was
it's
just in a big space station calamity and all right. Hey, where's the bus stop?
Right.
Yeah, but I love that. Yeah, she lands and there's apes, and that way you can marry two very popular franchises.
I would have jumped up in my seat and cheered if that happened.
Wow. Wow.
Anyway, that's mine.
All right, what about
It's
you,
not
Sean?
bad. God, I don't know.
Come on, you got one.
That's a tough one.
Okay, I'm thinking of The Odd Couple.
Okay.
Right?
Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon.
Yeah.
I really like this.
But one of them is an android. That's Felix.
Holmes and Yo-Yo, but played as roommates, not cops.
Yeah, and actually, when I thought of it, is because in a way they did kind of do a sci-fi version of The Odd Couple in a way, and that was Red Dwarf.
True. Yes.
You know, Lister. And,
Yeah, Lister's the slob.
Yeah, and Rimmer
is the neatnik.
is Felix Unger. So if you like, they're stuck in an apartment in New York, or they're stuck in a spaceship.
Which one, if in your version, which one would be the android? The sloppy one or the neat one?
I think the neat one. I think the neat one is he's going around cleaning. He's like Crichton.
But what if you went the other way? Like
Unexpected.
they have programmed this android to be the most repulsive
Right.
android, the sloppiest, messiest.
I love it.
And he drives the other human guy crazy.
Yeah, and
yeah,
he
that could work too.
and it's all because in Red Dwarf there's one remaining human left in the universe on this ship, and the computer is able to generate a hologram, and the hologram is of this guy's prior bunkmate, who is the most annoying guy in the
and
world.
a total loser. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
But having this guy brought back keeps him sane because he's always, at his wit's end with this guy. And so maybe through the story of yours,
Right.
and maybe we can contact Neil Simon.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll adapt.
Yeah. But yeah, and work this thing out because I see Tony.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Pigeon Sisters would be like two aliens that come visit them.
Nice.
Two,
All right.
two
Or
sexy
maybe
aliens.
or maybe they're holograms.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe they're the
you go.
computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Pair of twins as a computer. Why are you sneering?
No, I'm not sneering. I was
You,
just.
you have no sense of fucking wonder.
What? No. Me.
Yeah,
me.
the idea that you can't just go and you're like, oh, but that's not the way the Odd Couple happened. Listen, it was two human beings. That's stupid.
I know.
Actually, they made a cartoon.
Why would he have a sandwich in his bed if he's a robot?
They made a cartoon too. It's called The Oddball Couple. It was a sloppy dog and a really neat cat.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was Saturday morning, 70s.
You remember the theme song?
The Oddball Couple. There were a couple of
that's a couple of
oddballs.
oddballs.
See
Yeah.
that? I watched
You
it.
guys
Wow.
could have just made that up,
Yeah.
and I would agree with you.
No, check it out.
Wow, that was
beautiful.
That made me really happy. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a thing of beauty.
You guys are a lovely couple.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. That's good.
What do you got?
All right, he's
What do you got?
How about? Okay. Yeah. I got
got
one.
something?
Can't
Well,
wait.
Okay.
I have two, but I couldn't remember the actress, so I thought of a different one. How about the classic Judy Garland film, A Star Is Born,
Okay.
with Judy Garland and James Mason, and this is a great.
I prefer the Janet Gaynor one.
Janet
but okay.
Gaynor one. Well, okay, but I like the Judy Garland
Okay,
one. Okay?
okay.
But imagine that James Mason. So the story is, she's this up and coming star, and James Mason was this big star, and he's an alcoholic, and they kind of meet, they fall in love, and his career is going down where hers is going up, and she's trying to help him out as much as possible.
Right.
What if, as he's on his decline, he actually knocks his head and dies, but becomes a zombie?
Fantastic.
And I figured you would love this, Matt, because it's a shakeup of the zombie.
So it's still instead of alcoholism. Now
Yes,
he's
but now-
addicted to
and so-
Since
eating
he's an
flesh.
alcoholic, it's definitely a slow zombie.
Yes, he's a slow zombie. But she loves him so much, and it's like you don't want to lose someone, and it's like
Right.
he's a zombie and he's still alive, and well, is he? Is he not? But so she tries to sing for him and stuff, and he's captivated by her, but he also wants to bite her,
Right.
and maybe she could
pretty
do a
good.
little song, like, "No, honey, don't be biting," or something like that, when she
Yeah, just like that. That would be
yeah,
the
something
song.
like that. So
You are a
That's good. I like
songsmith.
that.
anyway.
I like that.
Lovely.
I thought you were going to say that it was.
Don't
it
bail
was-
on it. You nailed it.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it's going to be James Mason from Salem's Lot, so it's like Mr. Barlow, and
Well-
he's still trying to get her.
Well, it's funny because but if he did the vampire thing, it wouldn't really work.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I think the zombie
I
thing
like
would
zombie.
work.
That's
But
good.
but I don't know. So
The one that I have.
yeah.
So one of the more recent movies that I hate with every single drop of my soul
Whoa.
Wow.
is La La Land.
Oh, me too.
Right.
Oh, you guys didn't like it?
Oh my God.
I would eat my watch to not watch that movie.
Even if it was in someone's ass, the whole for
yeah,
you.
out of his ass.
Yeah.
Or her ass.
Yeah.
Did you like it? Did you like it?
I liked it a lot.
I did
actually.
too.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Tonight's
actually.
episode,
I would-
La La Land.
I would eat all of your vomits
Wow.
Okay. So what
what?
would you? What
In a
would,
line.
What, Matt? What would you
with
change?
vomit. I would dry some vomit in the shape of a spoon, and then I would
Okay.
vomit with that.
Wow.
Vomit.
Okay, Matt, this is great. But what would you change with La
Rather
La
than
Land?
watch La La Land.
So what I would like to see in that, I see the end of days.
Okay.
It's the apocalypse, the biblical apocalypse is coming.
Right.
And it's the same kind of story. There are these two people that are trying to make it in show business, and they got to keep their pluck and their optimism up as all their dreams just disintegrate in front of them because now the Antichrist is ruling. The oceans have turned to blood, but they still got a song in their heart.
Well, and don't they have to still? They have to still dance, right?
They still got to dance.
But is their dance different? Because now they're
this
dancing.
is how I see it. One of the things that I hated about La La Land, there's so many reasons, but I'd hear people say, well, you don't like musicals? Yeah, I like every other musical than this one. I like musicals where people are talented, where there's a dance scene, where there's a dance scene and people know how to dance, where you didn't do like half of a soft shoe, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. They danced on a parking lot. Oh, great. So in this one, maybe Satan makes them dance at some point.
Until their like feet turn
Yeah,
bloody.
so they're like they dance till they're like just bone stubs.
like the red shoes. The red shoes. They keep dancing and dancing.
But they have to
Okay.
dance over
Like
the body.
Red Shoe Diaries.
Someone
Yeah.
sells their
Yeah.
soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have to keep eventually. They have to keep going through this over and over again because
Nice.
they're eventually in hell.
They should be
This
as
is
miserable
hell.
as we are watching La La
Los Angeles is
Land.
hell.
Yeah. But so it starts off as this nice, fun-loving tribute to Hollywood, and it ends in a satanic apocalypse.
Okay. Well,
I'd
just
see
Good night,
that.
everybody.
just for our listeners, not everyone here at the table hates La La Land.
No.
Okay.
What,
I mean,
I don't know what you could possibly like about
I haven't
it.
seen it.
I
so-
loved it.
Actually,
it.
What did you love
I
about
like the
it?
songs.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I actually like the score. Yeah.
But you don't think that was a boring, stupid storyline that's like the most cliched? Like 20 minutes into that movie, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be a long slog.
No, I thought the cliche was part of the point. I thought it was sort of a throwback and a tribute to older,
I think it's
musical
interesting
style.
that you say that when it's this musical, but other movies where I think they're trying to do the same kind of thing, but in a genre world, you don't buy it.
Well, I'll tell you this: if they actually had implemented End of Days, I think it would have been a masterpiece. I wouldn't have been so cruel with the characters to have their bones come off their feet. But if they were protagonists, then I was just like, wow, that would be amazing.
See,
I'll give you that.
we need to.
We
make
all win.
We need to make movies.
All right. All right. All right. This is-
Any last ones? Anybody?
I was gonna pick Annie.
and what happens in this new version of Annie?
So I'm thinking the Carol Burnett character is a robot.
That's the 1980s version.
the,
Right.
Yeah.
the woman who is the head of the orphanage.
Sure.
Right.
Yes.
And then, maybe Annie's real parents were aliens, kind of like Superman,
Okay. Okay.
So she's really like the
has
an
powers.
alien.
She has
and
Kal-El Annie?
powers.
She's like Carrie or something. She's telekinesis or something.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then there's what's his name, Hijab or the bodyguard of
Yes.
Daddy Warbucks.
Right.
He's like
Punjab.
Punjab. Yeah, hijab. No, that's a headscarf. Punjab. He had his own kind of headscarf. But
We're learning a lot tonight.
yeah, he's the magical genie, of course.
Yeah.
That trope. But then Daddy Warbucks, I don't know, what is he? Is he the hero?
Wow, you're throwing everything into this. I like this. You've got a robot. You've got a superhero.
I got aliens.
You've got a genie.
Or he's the Lex Luthor.
And
I was
Annie
thinking
was like
that.
the
I was
fire
thinking
starter
that.
with
Yeah.
the
Right.
superpowers, and
You know what's interesting
she's
about
the
this?
hero.
What's interesting about this idea is this idea could probably make a hell of a lot more money than the original Annie did.
Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's
Well,
do
the
it.
original Annie made a lot of money.
No,
didn't
no,
it?
no,
No, it was a
Did it
bottom.
not?
The 70s one?
I was
70s,
no,
80s, 82.
82.
Yeah.
I worked
Or
at the movie
80s, excuse
theater
me.
that had that, and they were under contract. I remember the theater was so pissed off because they had to keep that movie in the theater for X amount of months, and after the first week, it did nothing.
And I thought I
And
heard
the-
somewhere where like they raised the price of the admission in some areas because
yes,
like
it's true. Yeah, because they thought it was going to be the big spectacular musical.
right.
So was it more of a marketing thing? Because, I mean, if you're looking for Annie, it was pretty much Annie, right?
What came first, the movie or the play? I
Oh,
wonder.
the play, the play.
So when I was born, when I was a baby, I lived at 88th Avenue, where my window was to the theater that Annie was opening when I was a baby.
Really?
And my mom would yell
Baby,
out the
baby?
window at them because she was pissed off at them because she was trying to get me to go to sleep, and they'd have Annie and the little dog.
How could you go to sleep looking
Like
at that?
outside on the sidewalk, while people like fans were there and whatever, and they were trying to
Wow.
do.
It's
press
like
for
having
it.
a Christmas
And my
tree in
mom,
your
the
living
New Yorker,
room every
would yell
night.
out the window at them while I was a baby because they were making so much
Why did she
noise.
close the window?
I don't know. Maybe it was hot.
Yeah, don't leave the
But
window
I was born
open
in
for the
August.
baby,
It
baby.
was summer. It was New York City.
Well, this has been great. This is
Okay,
really
I'm
good.
going to go with my movie.
Yeah.
Is going to go the movie I mentioned before, the greatest movie ever made, Sneakers.
I don't know them.
So they play all these programmers, and they figure out this program that cracks everything. Remember,
Right.
in it?
Okay.
Right.
And that's when Skynet starts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Terminators try to kill Whistler, the blind guy.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, and my backup would be Bright. Or make it a genre movie because it blew. There's no way you guys like Bright, right? I know where you are with La La Land.
I don't know.
see
I
it.
don't know.
Did not
With
see
Will
it.
Smith and
that one. Oh, the Netflix.
The
thing.
Netflix one. What
Yeah.
is? What is it? Is the guy supposed to be an alien? What is he?
No, they're like fantasy creatures.
fantasy
right?
creatures. Yeah,
Like an ogre.
he's an ogre, and there's it's just
Is it terrible?
yeah, really bad.
Wow.
Well, I think it's time to pick another topic.
All
Jolene,
right,
stick
fist
your
in the
hand.
skull.
No, put your
I'm
hand
sorry,
in
you
the
hate it when I
skull.
say that.
You know, let's come on.
Just delicately
Clean it
place
up
my
a little
hand
bit.
and,
My grandmother
like,
loves
stroke
this
it.
podcast.
Did you mix it up?
Until she heard
Oh yeah,
fisting
I
skull.
moved my hand all
'cause
around
it
in
looks
there.
like the same writing as what this one is, but
This one looks a little different.
Okay.
All right.
No,
What
this
is your
is
worst toy hunting experience?
That's mine.
the worst toy hunting experience.
Wow.
Oh.
Think on
Is
that
this
one.
Yeah.
like a fisting question?
No. What is it with you and fisting?
She was on top of that one though.
Okay.
You gotta.
Okay.
Rewind.
Do you want me to jump on this?
You're channeling my
Baby
wife.
jump.
I figure you're gonna have a worse experience in everything.
Okay, so
yes.
here's the thing. Okay, so back in 1982. Okay,
when Andy came out,
or actually no, actually it's actually 81. Bear with me here. So The Empire Strikes Back had come out, okay, in 1980, and Kenner had come out with these large action figures, the 12-inch action figures, but because they were more expensive than the little action figure counterparts, they didn't make as many of them. And I had almost the entire set. And so what did this mean? This mean that I had to find the last remaining 12-inch figure to get the whole set. So I went everywhere on my bike, everywhere, as far as I could go. And I realized, okay, I found...
How many choices did you have on your bike to
What?
go to?
How many
choices?
places could you go to?
Oh, okay. There was Gold Circle. There was Gemco. There were a bunch. Kmart, and
Okay.
yeah. So, but it's like I had to do this over a period of like weeks.
Oh,
and the
my
thing is,
God.
the thing that, and you're all probably wondering. So, Larry, what was the action figure that you needed so badly? It was the Stormtrooper. And you think, well, wasn't that a common one? No, it wasn't when I was trying to find. I had Luke Skywalker, I had Darth Vader, I even had the Boba Fett and IG-88, but the darn Stormtrooper, So get this. My parents were driving us. This is we must have driven about 15 miles. And as we're driving along this road, we were going to see some friends or something, and I look and I saw another, like it was like one of these big, like a Kmart store that I had never seen. And I'm like, what? I haven't been to that store. But I took a note. I wrote down where it was. And so would you believe that the next day was a weekend, it was a Sunday, and I get on my 3-speed bike, which was stuck in third gear, by the way, and I rode my damn bike 15 miles all the way out to the
How old
Kmart.
were you?
This, well, it's like 1981. Okay, come on. Just bear with me. So I go all the way out there, and guess what I found? No.
What?
The Stormtrooper was not there. And I thought, where is this elusive Stormtrooper? And I felt like I had just exhausted. So that moment when I drove 15 miles, and then I just
15 back, baby.
15 back. That was 30 miles for a little kid. I was like, well, I was a teenager, but still, I mean, I was exhausted. So that was the worst experience. But I will say there is a happy ending. The happy ending is I went to my regular Gemco, and would you believe they got a new shipment? The Stormtrooper was there, and so I do.
They were lousy with them.
I have the whole set
Happy
of
ending.
large action figures.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Hey, is there a difference between a 12 and an 18-inch? Like, do you go, I don't want, like,
By a
remember the
few
comic
inches,
books
yeah.
where they would do the oversized
18 hurts.
issues? You'd go, where am I going to put this? You know, it was always the...
See, I love those. Though.
Like,
the
I like
treasuries,
them.
the big
yeah,
treasuries.
it was like the Spider-Man and
The first one I had.
Muhammad Ali Superman.
Well,
was.
yeah, the
Superman versus Spider-Man was the
Yeah.
first one I got. That was great.
But it said collector's issue. It always said on top, and my dad would go, "Why are you spending all?" Dad, it says collector's issue, you idiot.
Yeah, yeah.
And it,
But I
then
did
it
love
never
those.
fit in any
well, no,
drawer
you had to have a
or
special
anywhere.
place for it.
But
yeah.
you can't. I've never collected anything because, like, will this fit? Yeah, we'll make it fit.
Yeah.
It's like that's how
Make
I
it
look
fit.
at all that stuff.
Okay.
Is that we'll find a place
But-
eventually.
But not to get off the topic, but do you have a worst toy hunting experience?
Yeah, I've been going after Amigo thing, Ben Grimm
yes,
now.
you have for years now.
For 17 years now.
Okay.
But I have only a price point that I'm willing to go.
For you're talking about the original Migos
Mego.
figure
Yes.
of Ben
What's-
Grimm from
what's your
Fantastic
price?
The thing. I want to be under $60.
Does it have to be like
think
mint
that's
and
possible.
package or?
I don't need it in the box.
Okay.
And
think
I
it's
don't
doable.
mind if it's been repaired, but
Okay.
I've been close a couple times. But the problem is once I get it, and I've been doing this now, like I said, so probably I've been to 1 a.m. Going 40 cents over the next one,
Yeah,
like
of
an
course.
idiot, the
Yeah.
worst way to
On
bid
eBay,
ever,
yeah.
as opposed to just going $5 and going to
Yeah.
sleep.
Why don't you
Right.
do that?
Because it's the fight.
What's wrong with
it's
you?
the fight.
What kind of clown? I mean, come on.
I need to drive myself insane about this because once it ends, it ends.
That's true.
Okay,
That is-
are you-
there's the joy in the
The
hunt.
joy and the pain of making it happen, and I know there's a number. I know I'll be able to get it for $30 somehow.
Let me ask you. If Biff Bang Pow
Yeah.
did
the newer version of
right,
it.
a
Yeah.
newer
Yeah, does it
version,
have to be-
it looks exactly
That's
the
why I
same.
love the new Fantastic Four movie. Was so horrible, so I didn't like. There were no toys to last Fantastic Four movie. That's how bad that movie was.
Right.
And what do they do? 2 years out, they start making or deciding what they're going to do.
Yeah.
No, that would not be it. I'd have to get.
You'd have to get
classic
the original one.
I'd have to get the original. one.
Okay, I can see
Ben
that.
Grimm is like the only character you collect, right?
Yeah, I limited it to one thing because otherwise I would
And
drive
monkeys,
myself
right?
crazy. Yeah, we got a lot of monkeys in the house too.
Wow, cool.
James,
That's
do you
cool.
have a worst toy hunting experience?
Yeah, I was in Tokyo once in a very obscure neighborhood called Sugamo,
Already a great story.
a neighborhood that took me forever to find, and a toy store that took me forever to find in that neighborhood, and it was amazing. It was called Forest Gangu,
Oh, I know that play. No.
which I think means Forest of Toys. And it had all these glass display cases with all of these vintage vinyl kaiju monster toys. And I'm going crazy. I'm looking around. I'm making mental notes. I want this. It's the middle of a weekday, and I see behind the glass case there's a Varan, this monster from this obscure Toho movie.
Varan the Unbelievable.
The Unbelievable, which is like this flying squirrel with a spiked back.
I don't believe it.
And it's
He literally is that.
He is.
a
He's
flying
unbelievable.
squirrel,
Pretty
a
much.
giant flying squirrel
Yeah.
with a spike back.
But he's not furry.
Fantastic.
So I'm like, okay, you know what? That looks like got a pretty reasonable price for a vintage vinyl. So I made a mental note. I kept shopping. And what do I see? A younger Japanese guy walks into the store, sees that figure behind the glass, asks the shopkeeper for it, and buys it.
Okay. I have a very similar story.
Let him finish. Okay,
And
let him
what
finish.
are the frigging odds that
Yeah.
in this place in the middle of nowhere, the one thing that I see, and somebody else just comes and on a weekday?
Yeah,
It's like,
I have
what
a
the-
very similar story. Okay, mine was there was this toy store that opened up in Culver City when I used to live in Culver City called Time Traveler.
It's
I
good
remember
that it's
Oh.
Culver City, but it's not.
yeah.
Oh no, that's not.
It's not easy to get to
Tokyo,
Culver
yeah.
City.
All right, so get
But-
this. I'm in Encino. Now,
But this
I don't have a passport.
This store was great though. It was a new collectible toy store with vintage.
so good. I really
Yeah,
miss
it was like
Yeah.
they rented it out to various collectors. They could put all their stuff behind the counters,
Yeah.
behind the glass, and sell the stuff. And I remember going in there with Gina, my wife, and we were walking around. And there's always this one guy who had a lot of Japanese vinyls, and it was the first time I think I saw the Hedra figure, the flying Hedra.
Yes.
like looks the flying
Yes.
version.
Yes.
It's like, oh my god, that's awesome! I'm gonna get that. But I decided I'm just gonna walk around the rest of the store first. And literally 3 minutes later, I came back and it's gone. And I look across the store and there's a guy at the counter buying it and walks out.
There's a guy eating it.
And there's like nobody else that's in the store. And when I walked out, I thought, like, what the fuck are the odds? And I was obsessed, and I finally did get it, of course.
Right.
But like seeing it right there, seeing it for the first time behind the case, and seeing, and it was a reasonable price. It's like I should have just, hey guy, give me that right now. Like, open up the case. I want it, but no, I had to. I wanted to, like, I was
Yeah.
so excited. I wanted to
Yeah.
walk around and see what else they had. But
Yeah.
So here, this is the theme then, because I'm at Comic-Con one year.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
remember which year,
Okay.
but it was quite a few years ago. And I'm at a table, and I see a full set, and it's like a combo pack of all the vehicles from Blade Runner. They're like Matchbox.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my God,
I
those
know
are
those.
super
yes.
rare.
It's a set of 4.
Yeah. I've seen
And
that.
it was $40.
what?
Decent price.
And in my mind, when I go to a convention, usually I'm like, oh, that's going to be there for a while. And I price check, to see if
Right,
maybe
right.
another table has it for cheaper.
Yeah.
This time, I don't even do that. I go to the table, I go, $40. I literally walk away from the table to another table, basically just to think.
Okay.
Like in my mind, like, do I want
To
get that?
reflect.
Yeah. It must have been maybe 2 minutes, and I go back. It's gone. So, I mean, when you think in your mind, like, I got there in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So that thing had probably been there since the morning.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's been sitting there.
Because I think the odds, like
The
there's something
odds.
so specific that you want. You think, okay, nobody else is going to want. Like, no.
Right. And it took me, I'm telling you, I did not lollygag when it came to,
Right.
deciding to pull the trigger.
Well, and the real sting is that someone else saw it and said, "Oh, that's a good price. Yeah, jump on it."
Yeah.
It was the same bastard who got the Hydra.
Yeah. And the
Sure
Varane.
was.
How do you live a life like that?
and the Varane.
How do you live a life pulling a trigger that quickly? How do you not think about it and drive yourself crazy and walk
yeah,
around
It's-
and
it's
tap
weird.
your pockets
It's
for
funny.
no reason?
It's funny because there was a Comic-Con where James and I we went to the Super 7 booth, and I see this Godzilla figure, and immediately I looked at it and went, oh my gosh, I don't care how much it is, I want that. And I got it, and I remember I had it, we're walking, and then we see you and Gina, and Sean and Gina, and I showed you, and you went, oh, I saw that, I was thinking of getting that. And I'm like,
How many times, though, and especially at Comic-Con where you go and it's maybe Friday or maybe Saturday, and then you go on Sunday and that same thing, you see 3 other places,
Yeah.
and
Right,
it's
right.
half the price.
yes,
Right. You
that
always
has happened.
And
You're always like torn.
And it's, as you get older, I think when you get into toy collecting, you have a better idea of how many of that thing exist.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I remember you said you picked up an item for like $15 or $20 or whatever, and today at the convention it's $5
Yeah,
less or
yeah.
something. But,
Yeah, so, and
that's the nature
but
of
then
it.
how that makes me feel better is when I then a year later realize that all of them are gone now. Like,
Right,
you can't
right.
find any of them. So hey, the difference between 10 and 15 is not that big.
No.
True.
The times where I find I've paid for something for $300 on eBay, and then now it's $25 everywhere. Those,
Right.
That's painful.
Yeah.
and that's
totally.
and those are rare.
That guy
rare
Cat
occasions.
who had the is he still here in Burbank? Was that the guy Cat who owned the comic book shop on Barham?
God, I don't know.
Because
that
he
one.
had the big remember the big Doctor Doom sitting on the throne.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a great one.
It's like
Is
2
that a
feet
Bowen
high.
thing?
Yeah, it was fantastic, and he was getting rid of it for $100. And then I thought, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to buy a pedestal, and then I'm gonna have to get lighting for it and everything.
Right,
so
right.
I'm trying to figure, okay, it's $100 now, but I got to do this right. So we're at like 600 now, and boom, a guy put $100 down.
Oh, geez.
I wanted to. I was thinking of tackling him and going like, "Listen, I could tackle him and break it, and I'll just give him $100." But I didn't. I just stewed, and that night, like most things in my life, I had a conversation in my head and didn't sleep till 7 a.m.
Right.
I do love when people go, "Oh, it's just too big. Where am I
Yeah.
going to put that?"
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But this was beautiful, and it
Yeah.
deserved everything to do it well.
Yeah.
It was killing me.
Yeah.
I have said that to you, and I apologize. I said, "The big Godzilla, it's not practical. Where are you going to put that?" I know. I'm sorry.
It's just too big.
Well, the one where I got lucky, Dave Higgins and I was a company by name of Icon. So it was when I first started making money in show business. So you're going like,
You can make money in show business.
yes, this was 20 years ago.
Wow.
And everybody was working on an MTV show, so we went to this company Icon, which was making B9 robots full size.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Whole room, whole warehouse was right down. Bob May was still around, so you could get him to do the voice on everything. You took the power pack, it went, and it went down.
that's great.
And it was $10,000.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
And
Yeah,
Dave and I were going to pull the trigger on it, and then we just started thinking about it a little bit. And 2 days
She'd
later,
never do that.
no, the company went under. Everyone got fucked.
Oh.
So, not giving $10,000.
Oh, okay.
So I was up $10,000.
So
All right.
so
Okay.
you wouldn't
Not-
have.
And I had no room. My apartment was the size of your kitchen. But you're going, yeah, that's got to be the thing people walk in and see.
The robot kitchen.
I had that and 6 ventriloquist dummies dressed like the guys from Glengarry Glen Ross. So
Nice.
ladies love coming over.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull the pack off of him.
Nice.
Hey, I'll get that dummy to say,
Put that
the coffee down.
Wow.
Well, this has been great. Jolene, you got
All
another
right.
one? All right. She's
I'm
sticking
going
her
in.
hand in the skull,
As I do.
and she has pulled out another topic.
What is your worst idea for a horror or sci-fi movie? What's your worst
worst
idea
idea?
for
I
a
don't
horror
have
or
a
sci-fi?
Everyone has
I've
a
really
good one.
hard about
Genius.
this for a really bad idea.
I came up with this,
that
and I'll
your
start the
question?
ball
It's your
rolling.
fault.
I had just started, got out here, and had a meeting with a guy who read a script, and he goes, pitch me an idea for a movie. I didn't know you could do that. So I just said, how about this? How about Dracula versus Hitler?
That's kind of cool.
And I thought I was a
not a bad idea.
genius.
You are.
Where I go, so it opens up. Dracula, he's in the United States now, and they're keeping him in a vat of holy water. So you can see through it like a dolphin. And it's hurting him all the time. And Hitler's starting to take over, and they tell him that you got to kill Hitler. But you find out Hitler, all the guys surrounding him, Goering and all those guys are also vampires.
Oh, cool. 'Cause
So I'm going,
Hitler
I'm gonna-
was, and Hitler was obsessed with the occult and all that.
Yes.
So like, that's kind
There
of
was a
cool.
Night Gallery episode.
There was. I can't remember.
There's a Night Gallery episode where the Nazis come upon some town.
Oh,
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
vampires or werewolves. I can't remember.
I can't remember, but yeah,
But yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
love-
horrible.
That's always a nice.
Well, no, I left the
collaboration.
meeting, and the agent said, hey, did you pitch him about Hitler and Dracula? Yeah, don't do that again, okay? So I think I meant more worst or best idea that you have, or
It's a fine
something
line.
like
Yeah,
a
really
yeah,
is.
true.
like a. Again, like there's every name a movie where it doesn't have Nazi zombies in it. There was a time where every time you turned around,
right.
There was a time when it was only one,
Yeah.
and that was the best one. Shockwaves.
That's true.
Yeah.
1977.
All right.
a great
Well,
one.
come on, anybody.
I don't know.
Jump in the
worst-
ring
What is
here.
your worst idea for a horror sci-fi?
well, it could be a
movie?
good idea that you have, but not. Listen, I still stand by the idea, but it's like,
Hitler
well, why
and
don't you write it up?
Right.
That's
right.
work.
Worse than Hitler and Dracula.
Yeah.
I
The only thing-
remember pitching something that had to do with Hawaii and surfing werewolves who only surf.
Again, I'm on this Kickstarter page, and I put in $400.
I think you're on the
So
board.
they only surf
I think you're on the
during
board.
full moon.
The full moon.
That's kind of funny.
I don't remember the story.
That would go well with Werewolves on Wheels.
yeah,
which
it
was
was that
the
kind
biker
of
gang of
yeah,
werewolves.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That would be my worst idea, is a sequel to Werewolves on Wheels.
Well, there's a lot of sequels that you could do. That's yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it's the Human Centipede, of course, but done like Thunderbirds. It's like Jerry Anderson with marionettes.
Oh, that's awesome.
That would be like
The South Park guys.
you know that movie.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
one.
Yeah. The South Park guys
That's the worst.
who did that movie.
Oh, Grandpa.
Remember the thing with that guy?
Yeah.
The lady.
Come on, that they made fun of Jerry Anderson.
was one of my
It was great.
favorites,
It was
actually.
awesome.
Not a Super Adventure Team, but the other movie that was parodying that.
Team America.
Yeah, Team
Yeah,
America. That's
World
it.
Police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My worst idea is a person who's on a podcast who can't fucking remember any titles of any movies.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have one that was actually done, and it still irritates the hell out of me.
And you came up with it?
No, I didn't come up with it. No,
Well,
it's
wait
like
a minute. You can't just pick bad movies.
what is your worst?
Your
Oh.
worst.
Your
Well,
You
worst.
came up with.
Maybe someone manifested your
Come
worst
on.
idea.
Come on, use your noodle.
This is
No, my ideas they're all great.
You can't stoop that low.
All right. How about animated ghost? But minus Whoopi. No, that'd make it better.
oh no.
Man.
Love Whoopi.
Stump me. Jolene, do you have one?
The worst
Idea for a horror
so you
But it could still be a great idea.
Okay, so you
but-
had
how it's
Hitler
handled.
and Dracula.
Yeah.
So the only way to make that worse is to add rape. So maybe who rapes
on who? Yeah.
that's the question.
Yeah. 'Cause
I'm
it's
thinking
one-
I would like if Dracula raped Hitler.
Okay.
It
So
would-
now, well,
it
now
would
it's
be
getting
worse
better.
if
He was very sexual, Hitler.
Yeah.
was he?
Didn't he have a lot of diseases or
He
something?
seems
Yeah,
repressed.
So maybe that's the thing is that werewolf. No, it's Dracula. I'm sorry. Dracula. Please pay attention. Dracula rapes Hitler,
Right.
but Hitler has diseases. So somehow one of those diseases affects the
Dracula.
vampires, and so he then spreads this disease,
Like vampire.
Herpes.
whatever. Yeah,
Okay.
AIDS.
choose your STD.
Well,
And so
And it-
suddenly it's a blood disease, and they
Yeah.
drink
See?
blood,
So it's like socio-political.
raise awareness.
Yeah.
This sounds good,
And
not bad.
Mussolini wins.
See, these are all too good.
Yeah,
They're all
We're
way
just
too good.
too
Yeah,
good.
these
Okay,
are
let's
great.
move on to the next question. I think
let's
this
move-
is okay. Next.
Yeah. Are you shaking it up in here?
She's
Or
shaking
like-
it good.
Fucking shake
Look,
it.
I mean,
she's shaking the thing.
shake
Look,
it up.
look at her
No,
shake
no,
that
stick
skull.
your hand in and really dig in there.
Oh, you're really shaking
Yeah.
it now.
John's seriously
Yeah.
fisting
This
the
is gonna
skull
be a
right
good
now.
one.
It's all about skull
Let's see what we
fucking with
got.
your fist. Okay. Which film's world and reality would you most want to live in?
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
What? Was
Why?
that your question?
No,
His
it's not.
question?
No, we
This
have
is my question. Do you have a problem with this question?
No.
That's a good
I want to
question.
know.
That's a good one.
I think
wanna
it's a
know,
great
in all of
question.
the sci-fi horror movies that build
Hmm.
completely different realities than we actually live in, they have a whole different set of rules.
Yeah,
Whose
yeah.
world would I want to live in?
Which reality
I know.
sound like which would be your fantasy of?
Except for one part, I would say Logan's Run.
Really?
Well, because
and
until
why?
until Carousel, because think of it. It's
Pretty good.
Well, that's part
it's
of
a dome-
that's part of
free,
it.
Free love and just like walking around the Dome City. It's a big mall. You can have
Oh.
anything you want.
Yeah,
Wow.
Well, it's fun.
I can see
You
you
are
there.
so-
Oh,
And then-
Sean
and then
Sheridan,
You are
Mr.
so
Freelove.
shy.
Yeah.
And do you really think that you'd look good in those little outfits?
I've
You'd be a
worn,
Sandman.
I've worn a
Outstanding.
Sandman outfit before.
Yeah, but there wouldn't be any Sandmen because there'd be no
Mr.
30-year-old rule to follow, right?
Well, no, I don't know. I'm not saying it would change what happened in the movie. I'm just saying, like, if you're just a citizen of Dome City, if you're clueless to what's really going on behind the scenes, you're happy as a clam.
I had no idea how freaky you are. Like, you so want to go to
It's
Love
cool
Shop.
and futuristic. Yeah, you got the Love Shop. You can change your face.
How
new
many
you.
days? How
It's
many
like-
days would you spend in Love Shop?
I don't know. Probably a
You
long
go in
time.
on a Monday.
Yeah.
Leave on a Friday.
I mean, it sounds like it'd be a fun time.
Well,
Okay.
okay.
Like
all
I
right.
said, it's until Carousel, then you find out.
Hey,
Oh fuck.
but you,
I mean-
you got to give them that.
Are you
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
any futuristic, or it can be anything?
Anything.
Anything.
Whatever you want.
Well, because I was thinking I'd like to go back maybe to 1950 from the day the Earth stood still, when the flying saucer came down,
What?
and well, because think of all the toys that
You
came
want to
out.
go back to the 50s?
Well, yeah, it was kind of a fun time.
It
you know?
was?
Well, I mean,
What?
you know,
For
you had
who?
to-
What are we making America great again?
Yeah.
Oh,
As we're popping
Look, the
Asian people into internment camps.
yeah,
that
yeah.
was-
In
that was-
1950,
that was a
yeah,
little
that's right,
earlier.
John. Boy, I think your history's a little off there, sir. And let me
not
just tell you, so
close.
no, there were some great toys that came out in 1950.
Are you
That's the-
kidding?
Oh, so
Yeah,
that's the
that's when
only
the robots
reason.
came
Are
out. in
you
the spaceship.
kidding me?
Wait, are you going to? You're going to this
So
time
you're-
period to be a collector?
You're going
Yeah.
to trade civil rights for
A chance to get a good robot.
All right, now you brought up a very good point. And I'm sorry, I didn't know. I'm not joking. I didn't think about that. I was selfish, thinking of toys and stuff. So
Now, if we're talking time travel,
Yeah, time travel.
if we could go get some toys and then head on back.
Back to the Future.
God, yeah.
There we go.
Good call. So you're going to
So
the back
maybe
to
that's
the-
what I would do. I would do Back to the Future, so that would take place in 1985. So
You
I would go
saved
back
it.
to 1985, so
Good
I
call.
could go. And you know what? I'm not sure I would go back to dinosaur times. I'd be
No,
nervous.
God, no.
Well, not because I
horrible.
don't want to see a dinosaur. It's because I don't want to do that the butterfly effect where you step on
Sure.
a
Right,
butterfly and then
And
the
we
also
effect-
don't
weren't
wanna-
the
Yeah.
alpha animal then.
What?
So we weren't the alpha animal
Oh,
then.
no.
So
Well,
Right,
it
right.
doesn't matter. I'm just saying I wouldn't go back to dinosaur. I think
Why
I'd
can't
back
you go to
the-
Jurassic Park then? You could be part of that universe.
'Cause at least
Oh,
there,
yeah.
if you go back
before
in
the
time,
dinosaurs
So you could see
escape.
dinosaurs then.
yeah, if you go back in time to any kind of dinosaur time, I don't want to inhale whatever pathogens are floating around. either.
Oh,
Point,
right.
good point.
Matt, I didn't
You're
even think
screwed.
about that.
You're
Al-
screwed.
Yeah.
Although that air might be very clean. There won't be any
possible.
pollutants. There won't be any pollutants.
There's
Listen,
no-
if we get you there, we'll probably have an oxygen tank for you.
Well, here's
Okay.
here's the
Sure.
thing, though.
Done.
My understanding, we had a wonderful guest on our show, Roger Nygaard, who explained to us that time travel is actually possible, but you can only move forward. You can't move backward.
That's like sharks.
There
Sharks
you-
can only swim forward,
That's
but not
true.
backwards.
Sharks in relationships.
Indeed.
They have to
That was
move forward.
that was our
Like a dead shark.
that was our unexplained
What we have
phenomena.
here is a dead shark.
All right, so there's my time. James, what about you, buddy?
Well, even though this is kind of a dystopian, futuristic environment, the Blade Runner environment is just very.
That was
I thought of
also
that
when I was
too.
thinking. of it, yeah.
You'd want to
too.
go to
but
that?
but is
Yeah,
it? But it's kind of oppressive.
It's okay.
You know.
I could even deal with
It's okay.
if I had one of those umbrellas with the lights on it.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
just-
it'd be
Oh,
okay.
wow.
By the way,
You
why
guys
don't
are
they
getting
make
things
those?
in a plot.
You guys
Kind of
jump on
getting
me for
close to
collecting
personality
toys.
reality
You know what?
He's
and
collecting an umbrella.
Yeah. At least he goes to the 50s. There's, I don't know. He could get into early rock and roll. I don't know. But you with the light, you can do that now.
But why don't they make those umbrellas
But
today?
you have those cars, the hover cars.
Yeah,
and
but
that
but those
They're
are
coming.
those are for the police though only, weren't they?
Yeah, I think
spinners
they're
are
I could be a
only.
cop.
That's okay. Okay.
Well, you know what? James, I love you and I admire you. I think I just can't see
The
you as a
big
cop.
billboards and the Vangelis music. Yeah, I could live there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wait, but that-
wow.
I'm glad you've really thought this out.
But that means
I like rain.
You could have James Hong's. you could have James Hong's job just make eyes.
Yeah.
I
No,
I do
no, no.
eyes. I do
No.
eyes.
No.
Yeah,
come on,
just
he
don't
doesn't.
bother me. I only make eyes.
Yeah.
But you don't like eyes.
I could be anonymous. It'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Roy,
Okay.
why did you kill your creator? Blame it on the rain.
Yeah.
All right. So, what time would you want it? What about you?
Well, now, with any time, there are ups and downs. But if we're talking the most comfortable life, it'd have to be the Star Trek universe.
I was going to say
Oh,
that.
okay. Sure.
Because
That's where
the,
I wanna be.
Course.
the Star Trek
Of
universe,
course.
a lot of our problems have been worked out
Yes.
now. The downside is every once in a while the fucking Borg show up,
Yeah,
or
the Klingons
or
right.
an alien probe,
But that's
who
not-
needs
what
some
What about
whales.
those cute fuzzy things? What were they called?
The
Tribbles?
tribbles.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
you have
so
a tribble.
I mean, there are those kind of problems, but we seem to
Right.
get through them
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
It's more
It's a more
optimistic
utopian kind of
optimistic
world.
outlook on the future than the Blade Runner version.
yeah. I
Right,
mean,
right.
you have holodecks, and I'd
holodeck.
probably go to like the newer Star Trek.
Yeah,
the
Next Generation.
generation.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, Matt.
Not
Okay,
Discovery.
okay. But you don't see many toys there though. Mitts and package.
Well, how do you
make
know?
'em.
You don't go to this. You don't go to the.
They have the
They don't
replicator.
have
You can
episodes
have
where they
any
go
toy you
toy
want.
hunting.
Yeah, in the holodeck
should.
though, you can have any toy you
Right,
want.
exactly.
Oh my
Ah.
God! I would never leave.
Yeah,
right.
And you know what? There would be a moment
You would
though.
get everything, two of everything, everything mint and package.
But you see, that's
Everything you could ever
see,
want.
but then it would be a cruel game or joke to myself because then I'd realize
You couldn't
it's
take 'em
not
out.
real. It's not real. It's just
Right.
it's just photons and light. That's I would. I
What
would
is
Right.
You remember
real?
there was
Maybe
a,
that's what we are living
there's
in
a
now.
there's a next generation
Right.
episode where there's this guy who's a collector.
Yes, that's a great
It's
episode.
a really good one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
and he
great
collects all kinds of things. In fact, he has
Rare and unique.
anything rare and unique, and he has like this baseball card, like Willie Mays or something that still has the bubble gum, and so he kidnaps Data because he wants Data in his collection.
Because he's the one of a kind.
Because
Right,
that I
right.
think would be you because Data would be the
No.
ultimate robot toy.
See,
Yeah,
see, there's a
that's
difference
true.
though. First of all, that is a great episode. The guy who's the collector, not only does he have that, but he also
He's
has
wonderful,
a
that
very
actor.
rare gun. And the gun that he has is a gun that, when it's fired at someone, it produces so much pain as this person is being killed. And the gun was outlawed.
Yeah.
And it's like that's cruel, and I would
a
never.
great plot
I'm
point.
not a cruel guy like that. I
You'd
would
have the
never-
gun, but you wouldn't fire it.
No, I wouldn't
right.
have. No, I'd be like, I'd be the guy who has little mechanical toys, a little battery. Look at this beautiful robot. Look at this little wind-up thing. That's what I would be. Look at this Star Wars.
So in Blade
figure.
Runner, you would be J.F. Sebastian.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well,
yeah, I can see that.
He kind of made his own stuff. He didn't go out and purchase it.
So
know?
you have
Yeah.
so for it to be cool, you have to buy it. If you made it yourself, it wouldn't be good, even if it was great.
yeah. What
well,
if
it's
you
like
were
that-
great at making stuff?
It's the.
Or make some robots to make some stuff for you.
Well,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not this.
And just sit back and enjoy.
But But you see, you know what's funny about that statement? Let me tell you something.
Sure.
So you've seen
Explain comedy
You've
to
seen
us.
the robots of today. You know how it's like this mechanical arm and it does all this stuff and it could cook your eggs for you and stuff. But it doesn't look like Robbie the Robot. Where's the giant bubble with the little blinky lights?
I can't argue with you.
No, dude.
I almost put down 10 grand for a robot.
I love blinky lights.
yeah.
Of course you
I
do.
love them.
I bet you,
know,
eventually they are going to make fully functioning robots, and I bet you somebody will make one purposely looking like a retro style sci-fi-ish
Sure. Yeah.
robot that is also completely practical and does real things.
Yeah.
And that will be a great day.
yeah. What about you two down there? What kind of
Listen,
futuristic-
I thought you had a lot going on with Star Trek.
Yeah.
Problem being, whenever you see the bedroom scenes, you go, that doesn't look like a warm blanket.
No, you have a very good point.
That's a
Now,
good point.
I would counter.
It's like silver and hard.
They're warm and they probably...
Well, I would counter that you're also most of those scenes are on a starship,
That's true.
and so
Well, I assume I have to live on a starship because that's all
you
I've
could
seen.
live on Earth or another planet.
I don't want to live in France with Picard or any of that.
Nobody does. Nobody does.
Listen, I'm going to go back to my favorite movie of Sneakers so I can hang around with Fat Dan Aykroyd and have barbecue. And but I think you really nailed it with Star Trek because I like comfort in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I really thought you had a really great point, too, about Logan's.
Logan's Run?
Yeah. I just don't want to die that quick.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to be tired by life.
Right, you'll be exhausted
You
just
know,
from.
But see, in the Star Trek universe, you could just go on the holodeck and
Yeah.
fuck yourself.
Yeah, because then I want to end up...
short the thing out. You know?
And then I want to end up in the end in a electronic wheelchair, you know.
right.
You know?
Yeah, but in your head,
Yeah, I'm doing
Yeah.
crazy
Right,
shit
right,
in
right.
the holodeck.
it's green lady
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
All right,
Morning
Right.
till night.
Jolene, what about you?
You know, I've been thinking about it. This is actually my question.
Yeah.
And I cannot think of one film that I would want to exist in because I can't think of one where I was trying to think of one actually where it's a theme for the evening that's on my mind, but I was trying to think of one where females are on equal ground where they're
Star
Pretty
Trek.
close.
Star Trek is pretty close.
No,
to
no,
that.
much.
Not
So
so much.
I originally
Newer
was
Star
going to
Trek.
say Star Trek. Yeah.
Also,
but-
there was that Star Trek episode where the women lived underground. Remember that? The Spock's brain. Remember that?
No, you know, she doesn't want to live there.
Oh.
The one on CBS.com.
brain, what is brain?
Yeah.
you don't want to do that.
Right.
No.
I don't, there's really nowhere I want to live.
Wow.
That's the truth.
This is what I
I think
see.
I need to create a new reality where I would like to live.
Well, then that's like the Matrix.
The
or
Matrix,
something. You
yeah.
just live
Yeah.
in, you know.
I
How
don't
about the
wanna live in
Road
the Matrix.
Warrior?
The Road
I see
Warrior?
you. I see you behind, like,
Are you
The
married
head
to
of-
those two arms?
I see you as the head of like a warrior clan, and you and your clan have these
Or
tricked
having to
out
fight all
cars.
the
She's like
time?
Furiosa.
Yeah.
Furiosa. Yeah.
No,
It's pretty dusty.
that's true. No, you're right.
I want to
Yeah.
go with Star Trek, the original Star Trek.
Original Star
I'm
Trek.
going to go
Okay.
with the original Star Trek universe, reality land, where I get to be the captain of my own ship.
Sure.
Quite
That'd be
possible.
cool, like as a female captain back in that
Right.
that show.
So I really like
would
the
be
original
interesting.
Star
Something that you
Trek
never saw.
because,
No, no.
because they value thought and examination and
Sure, yeah.
you know, all the stuff that kind of gets lost now.
Yeah.
So I do like that universe because integrity is valued.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
All right, Jolene. So let's do another one here.
All right, fifth
maybe
and
maybe
fourth.
get one of my questions.
Find one in
Yes,
here. Let's
God.
see what I got. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, that's mine.
What was your favorite toy as a child?
Ooh.
Is it yours? Is it yours? Is it
No,
yours?
no,
This is actually one of mine.
Okay. Okay, James, go for it.
Yeah.
Interesting. God,
What was your favorite
that's a
toy,
good-
James?
Oh, I think I know actually.
I
yeah.
actually, when I was maybe 6, I had a corgi chitty chitty bang bang.
Oh my god.
And now, you know, you can scoff, but that thing was cool. It was die
That was your
cast.
favorite.
Don't
It was.
scoff.
I
That's a
love that
nice
little thing. I
toy.
love that little thing. Yeah. The irony is that I never ended up collecting vehicles or anything. It was all action figures. But that, you know, the wings came out. You know, the wheels
Wings.
turned.
Yes.
That thing was- I
You
think it was
pressed a little
awesome.
button, right?
Wings, John Matta.
That was my favorite
On the
toy.
chitty chitty bang bang car.
It's a die-cast metal. It's colorful. It's got little figures.
I was 6. I was a big fan of the movie. That was my favorite toy. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Great
That's a
toy.
good one.
All right, really quickly. Okay. One of my favorite toys as a kid. Oh my God, I love this. And you know what? I've been trying to find another one for years. My favorite toy as a kid, a little kid, probably about like 4 or 5 years old, it was a giant rubber pterodactyl. And the great thing about this rubber pterodactyl was he wasn't a thin rubber. He was thick. This is back just like 1969, 1970. This is when they put all kinds of oil in those rubber toys, you know? And so it's
They
like
like
if you
to put
left
oil
it
on
on the
those big rubber
table,
toys.
you remember that? If you left the toy on the table,
stained.
it's stained. Do
Yeah.
you remember that? That's what this
Stained.
pterodactyl. And I remember when my parents got it for me, it was $1. And that was a lot of money. And they
so your
picked it up in
figures
Santa Cruz.
left a wet spot, is what you're saying.
First of all, it was a rubber figure. But what was so great was no.
a rubber figure.
He was. Now remember, I was a little kid, so maybe my perception here is a little off. But he was about maybe from tip to wingtip to
Was he
wingtip.
12 inches?
He was about 12 inches. And he had
Nice.
this long neck and the big beak, and the beak opened up. And what you would do is it had like an elastic band, so you could have it go up and down, and it would
Okay.
fly.
All right,
But over a period of time, the elastic string broke. You know, and
Always the way.
and okay, no, get this. So I would take him and I would, make him flap his wings and stuff. But over a period of time, the wings broke because he was rubber. He like broke apart. And I've been looking for that same pterodactyl for years and years and years.
Was it
like
was
a
it just
fallen
like a
angel.
generic line of like? Was it was it
Yes.
from a set of other dinosaur figures?
Yeah.
or
There were
was it-
there were
okay.
other dinosaurs, and I
So it was like
have
the
seen
60s or
the funny
70s?
thing is, I befriended this guy who they're called jigglers, is what they're called.
Of course.
Ben
they
Cooper.
are.
Yes. Ben Cooper did a series of jigglers, but there were also other companies that
What
did
was
them.
the official company that did Jigglers?
I don't
know?
I know that Ben Cooper made jigglers, but there was this collector out there who has
It's like you're saying something bad about Ben Cooper. Yeah.
No.
That guy makes jigglers.
but like within the toy, see, your mind, you got a twisted mind. It's like in the
Yeah.
toy world, we all know in the toy
You
world.
get Ben Cooper alone.
Yeah, but it's
You're a
like,
jiggler.
Same thing.
I befriended this guy who showed me pictures of another guy's collection.
Did he
and
now?
pictures
He had it?
had that terror, and I flipped out, and I wrote this big long thing. Oh my God, you guys think this guy would ever consider selling it? Blah, blah, blah. And I just went into this whole thing, explained the story, and then he never responded to me. And I think, oh, this guy's probably too weird, and probably so.
How long of a letter was it?
How long was it?
It was
15 pages.
No, it
12?
wasn't. It wasn't that long.
And in conclusion,
No, I was just curious.
But I assume you're looking all the time on eBay.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
okay.
I type in jiggler
Eventually
all the
you'll-
time.
eventually I'm sure you'll find one.
No. It's
Well, maybe
very.
it's jiggler with like 1G, like look in different
No,
ways.
no.
like,
And the funny thing is, I know people. You guys are going to say, "Oh, Larry, I've seen a pterodactyl." It's not the same
Never.
one. There's a
I've
thin.
ne-
No, there's a thin one out there that people go, "Oh, there it is." No, it's mine was a big, thick one. It was like 1969, 1970.
I have
know.
a great rubber pterodactyl right now.
Was it
that I
thick? Is it
got.
thick?
It's thick around the base.
Yeah.
Veiny?
Kind of, because they,
Sorry.
look, they have a very intricate vascular system.
Okay, guys, come on. Rubber jigglers. Come on.
From
Yes.
Toys R Us.
Oh.
Remember how
yes.
Toys R Us had for a while they had these bigger kind of rubber figures
Yeah, they
that
still-
had wires in them.
yes, I know
And there's
those
a
ones.
dragon.
Yeah, the
and there was
dragon
a couple
and-
other
yeah.
things. And they did a pterodactyl. It looked like scale, like
Yeah.
a baby pterodactyl that you could have on your shoulder.
And it was kind of realistic looking.
Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah.
How long have you been looking?
Oh, I've been looking for about like 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the
there were-
20-year period, how many things do you think you have in back of your mind that you're looking for?
There's a few. There's a few things.
15, 20?
I don't know, something like that, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah. But
That's
I
very
realize
cool.
the truth of the matter is I realize now that there are some things which may be impossible to find. So and you know what?
Peace of mind.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
But usually when you least expect it, you might.
But are these all
find something.
replacements of the 20?
Okay.
Of something that you had? or
well,
brand new things?
This is great, but I actually want to find out what these guys. Okay, what about
You
your?
won't even answer the question.
What about your?
You are dead to me.
What about
Moving
your
on.
favorite toys as a kid?
okay.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang here, then Pterodactyl. You.
Okay. When I
So far, this is great.
of course, as a kid, I loved the Mego figures.
Yeah.
One toy line that was similar, that was 12-inch figures that I didn't get into as much was the Captain Action toys. I actually didn't have I don't think I had a Captain Action, but what I did have, which I loved, was Captain Action's enemy, Dr. Evil.
You had Dr.
Dr. Evil, which not the Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. This
Yes.
was 1967. It was Captain Action's enemy, and he was like this blue-skinned alien with an exposed brain.
Yeah, he's
and
cool.
kind of bug eyes and this cool like silver suit and this amulet, and he was awesome. And he even came with like a regular human, like bearded guy mask that
Right.
he put on to disguise himself. It was just the coolest
Cool.
figure. I never.
Yeah, it was cool.
He was like a generic kind of, he wasn't associated with any movie or TV show. It was like just Captain Action's
Remember those
enemy.
days? When we
Yeah,
just
and
made
he was
toys
awesome
to
And-
please us.
Yeah, just really cool figure, really good detail. I love that guy. Just made up my own, adventures and stories with him because I didn't really get the other Captain Action guys. I just had him. I had him be the enemy of my 12-inch GI Joes.
Oh.
He worked well because the GI Joe monsters, the actual GI Joe ones, like the little tiny Neanderthal
Yes.
man or the
Yeah.
or the Yeti. Like there's some
Midget,
Dr.
yeah.
Evil was like the same size. He was a great enemy. So.
Okay, I just have one question. Did you set him on fire?
I did not.
Oh.
I don't know whatever happened to Dr. Evil. I did not. I treated him very well.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
me happy.
Did you
I
set a
do-
lot of things on fire?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he was a pyro.
Yeah, I've only heard of one or two things.
Oh no! If
No,
you go
I
back,
did-
listen
I
to the
did.
show. He lit everything on fire.
Really?
But eventually they re-released Dr. Evil. I have a new version of it.
Yeah, I have that too.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
but
That's
it's
great.
a
That's
really
great
cool
that they do
figure.
that.
Yeah.
All right, Matt.
Well, we've talked about a lot of my favorite toys already. The Zeroids.
Yeah.
These
Right,
plastic
right.
kind of Art Deco mechanical robots. I love those. But there's one toy that I really loved, and I had it, and it broke pretty early.
Right.
And I don't even remember being that hard on it.
Okay.
But Larry, I think you can tell me what this toy is.
Okay.
And I've looked for it on eBay and I've seen them, but they're just so expensive. And
Yeah.
depending on what your finances are at
Yeah.
the time, you can't pull that trigger. So it's a robot, but it's not really a robot. It looks like a robot, but its chest opens up and it has machine guns.
Yeah.
And the face, there's like a human face behind a little view plate.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like there's an astronaut that's inside like
Yeah.
a robotic
Right.
exoskeleton.
Yeah.
How awesome.
But this thing was great. It would walk,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would stop, and the chest plate would open up. These
Yeah.
machine guns would shoot. And they'd go back
Yeah.
and forth. There was a
Yeah. Uh-huh.
little movement. They'd light up, and it would spin around
Yeah.
in a circle.
I remember that thing.
And I really loved it, but it broke. What happened first is that the spinning mechanism
Yeah.
stopped working.
Yeah.
But I held on to it for as long as I could, and that was what's great about that one is a tin toy.
Yeah. Tin toy.
So it lasted for quite a bit, but
the mechanics.
It might have been called Super Astronaut. Is what it
I
might have been
think
called.
that
yeah.
might be it.
And what they did is there were a bunch of different variations on it. What color? It was like a black.
Black,
yeah.
yes.
They came out with a red
Yeah.
color, and there were a few other variations. But that is a beautiful robot. And they also had just a robot head and not an astronaut one.
Yeah.
But like you, Matt, I actually prefer the astronaut.
yeah,
look.
that's what I want.
actually
I
love
like
those
that
ones, yeah.
because it was different.
Yeah.
Right.
The idea that like, oh, it's not just a robot. It's like we're using robot technology
Yeah.
to make ourselves stronger.
Yeah.
And that makes sense that you're on an alien planet, and
and they're
you're-
dangerous aliens with a machine gun.
Yeah, or there's a space war that
Yeah.
you're involved
Right.
with, and
No,
these are what the soldiers have been equipped with.
And the
Yeah,
beautiful
that's
thing
cool.
about those particular toys that were made in the 60s and the early 70s, it had a special kind of tin lithograph. So the painting that they used, it was actually very detailed. The colors
Yeah,
were
it's
really
great.
great. And as simple as the mechanism inside, which, you could say it was complex. It was complex for the day, kind of simple, but it had the blinky lights and it had the
was cool.
rat-a-tat. It was really, really cool.
And it was great, and even the box. I remember the box.
The box is a
was
beautiful painting.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful painting. Yeah, that is a gorgeous. That's a
I
gorgeous
love that,
toy.
and that's one that one of these days I
Yeah.
see them come up.
Yeah, they a good one. It's anywhere between one that functional.
Like 6 or
You
5
can,
or 6.
Well, no, actually, it can be less. I think you can get it for anyway $350
good,
to
okay.
$500. I mean,
Great.
do you want the box?
Not necessarily, but
Yeah.
if it had the box, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are a lot of them out there, but it is true that they are
They have
getting
to
hard.
work though. That's the most
thing,
important
and that
thing.
is that
It
is
has
the
to
thing.
work perfectly.
That is a really great toy. I
Yeah,
love
so that was
toy
mine.
robot.
Has to
All
work
right.
perfectly.
It has to work perfectly. You look, I can't get things to work perfectly in my life,
Yeah.
so
Tell me
the
about
toys
it.
have to work.
Jolene, how about you? What kind of toy did you have as your
I
favorite?
didn't have a lot of action figures, and I was always jealous of the boys.
Yeah.
My friends who had Star Wars action figures that I thought were awesome that I didn't have myself. So I didn't have. So if like girls had Barbies, but I wasn't interested in that. I didn't have any like dolls like Barbies. I loved the Spirograph or Light
I love
Bright.
Spirograph.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, Light Bright.
Or Light Bright.
Light Bright
A
was
Light
great.
Bright was amazing.
Remember, light bright, making things with light. What a sight, making things with light bright.
With refills, make Bugs Bunny or Bozo the Clown.
Yes. I didn't have a lot of like action figures, but I love playing with my friends' action figures. But I had a Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls
Okay.
that I
Yeah,
loved because they were kind of like
Conjuring.
raggedy and faulted, but beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of kids had those. I
Right?
think my sister had those.
But now
mine
you
too.
brought up Spirograph.
Spirograph was my favorite.
Spirograph for a while. I mean, I loved that. It was amazing because that was a toy that I went back to a lot.
Really?
Like there are certain toys that you kind of play with once
Yeah.
and then you put them away. But I really liked the pictures that you got out of Spirograph.
Well, for listeners who don't know, can you explain what Spirograph is?
I don't know. Let me try. So Spirograph,
These plastic. It was a plastic.
it was like plastic spheres that would go inside empty circles that you would put colorful pens in, and you would turn them in circles. They would create these fractal,
Yeah.
artistic designs.
The little
were-
circles, the
they
little
were
circles.
gears.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
circles, that gears
It was
had little
like-
holes in them
It was
that
like
you would put your
watch
pen
clockwork gears.
That's right.
yeah.
And
That
when
would
you-
work together to
Different
create
sizes.
art.
And
Yeah.
depending and in these little gears, there was a bunch of different little circles, and depending on where you put your pen or pencil, and you would spin them around, you would go, you would kind of follow the gears,
Yeah.
and it would create this amazing little, almost like psychedelic design.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
loved it. And what I loved about it is that there were so many different ways that you could create a drawing.
Yeah.
Geometric shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And I really love that.
You could
It was
keep
these
busy for hours.
mathematical,
Yeah.
scientific sort of
Yeah.
formulas expressed in these artistic designs that were beautiful.
But for
That's a
all
good one.
for all the infinite variations of Spirograph, you look at one of those finished designs and you think, "Oh, it's a Spirograph."
True.
Yeah.
True. That is true. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, my favorite toy as a kid, like for my birthday when I was a little kid, and people would ask my mom what to get me. I just wanted paper and pens. I just wanted colorful pens and
Okay.
paper.
Now,
Okay, next time. Now,
No, wait. Did Mr. Matta? Did you do your?
I think 2 Zeroids.
Yeah,
The
Zeroids.
robots.
Oh, yeah, that's- yeah.
Now, was there one where you could put the Zeroid in
a loop.
In a loop. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have that.
yeah.
I was
right now.
obsessed with
I
those
love that.
because in the same big tub or box we had those, and then with the old Migos, but it was always Aquaman and Robin. And, it was none of the good ones ever. You sometimes had a bad
no
one.
Ben Grimm.
Yeah, no, I never had any of the good ones. I just remember that's awfully
See,
orange and yellow. That
The
Aquaman.
Zeroids are great things to collect now because back then
Were they metal or plastic?
no, they were
Plastic.
plastic.
That's what I
And they
remember
were
them being.
They're made of a kind of a harder plastic. You had to
Yeah.
be careful because
They were very fragile.
if
Yeah,
they
yeah, they
fell
were.
off your shelf, it's possible it could crack or it could break.
Yeah, and there were.
I remember them being
yeah.
pretty sturdy though for a kid's
Well,
toy.
You must have had a very delicate.
I have
touch.
very light touch. Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
you have supple fingers.
yeah, yeah.
But
yeah.
I've told
I have
you
little
this
hand.
before.
Yeah.
All right, that was really nice. Zeroids. All right,
All
Jolene.
right, moving on. Moving
Yeah,
on.
maybe
moving on.
pick one
of
And
those
for
in
our
years.
Next question.
All right.
Dun, 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 dun. Next question. What is your dream movie poster to have in your home?
Huh. That's
Dream movie poster
Like
to
a real,
have
an existing movie, or I guess an
It's
existing.
your dream. It's
And
whatever you
yes,
want.
yes. Well, I don't have an original of this, and I would love to have it. And that is an original one sheet of Creature from the Black Lagoon from 1954. Wow. I have a reproduction that was made in the 80s. Now, and the funny thing is that actually goes for a few bucks, but not $25,000. To find an original Creature from the Black Lagoon is really difficult. But what's funny is James and I years ago, this was about like 12 years ago when we went to Comic-Con, there was an auction, Heritage I think was there, and they actually had samples of all these posters that they were going to sell, and they had an original Creature from the Black Lagoon. I knew about it, and I had to go, and I had to see it, and I went, and they had a big long table, and they had the guy there, and I said, I just want to look at the creature. He goes, would you like me to bring it over? I'm like, sure, yeah. And so he brought it over, and that I got so close to it, like I could smell it, that poster. But Creature from the Black Lagoon, he said that it would sell for about $14,000 or $15,000. This was like 12 years ago. Now you go on eBay, if you find one, they're all over $10,000. Wow. But Creature from the Black Lagoon, one sheet would be the one I would want.
Wow.
How does your reproduction look?
It looks great. I mean, it's beautiful.
Nice.
I mean, it's framed beautifully, and it's in my living room, and it looks great. But having an original is...
Well,
it'd be something.
once John and I sell the Hitler vampire.
You're all going to get your beaks wet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just give me your list of what you want, and I'll
James-
get you
James, what about you?
photographs.
James?
This is one that I'm probably actually going to pick up on eBay if I can find it at a good price, and it's
La La Land.
Yeah, I'm going to frame it and give it to Matt for his birthday. No, it's the
Is it
Italian.
stain resistant?
The Italian Monster Zero, which is this Godzilla movie from 1965,
Oh, yeah.
and the
Classic old-
oversized Italian poster is beautiful. It takes place in it's like an outer space scene with the two astronauts, and I had gotten a miniature copy for one of the actors in the poster, Akira Takarada, and he autographed it for me. And then I was like, why the hell didn't I just get the actual poster and have him autograph that? So next time I get the chance to meet him, God willing, I'm going to actually have
How
him
big is
sign.
the oversized one?
Well, the Italian movie posters, they're a lot. Most of them are oversized. They're like really, really big.
Like bigger than 12 inches?
Yes, much.
Nice.
Whoa.
I don't know the dimensions, but they're huge. They're like murals. The paper
Yeah,
stock,
they're great.
The paper stock is usually pretty thin.
Wow.
But they're very cool, and the artwork is usually different than the U.S. editions.
Wow.
And the Monster Zero poster in particular is gorgeous. So that's my.
Do you have a wall waiting for it too?
I'll make a wall.
Thank you. Thank you. Isn't Akira Takarada going to be at G-Fest?
Yeah, he is actually. And I think Matt and I might actually
think
get to
we're-
go to
Oh,
G-Fest.
we're going.
Oh,
this
that's
summer.
awesome.
Yes, this July. So
Yeah.
I will have it prepared.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, what about you, buddy?
God, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Oh, come on.
I remember seeing a poster. And it was an Italian poster for the original Blob. The Blob. And it's just so different, and so I have it like on my computer. I can post a picture of it, but it's just, I don't even know if it's a rare poster
Blabo.
or whatever. But it shows like these people like being engulfed by the Blob, but it's like in this red. It's just really cool poster.
Oh, wow.
I'm showing you a picture.
Sean is
Yeah.
showing us a picture, and
Fluido Mortale.
Yeah.
Sean, I've never seen that.
Yeah,
That
It
is
looks, you know what it
awesome.
looks like?
Awesome.
It looks like La Dolce Vita, but they just added the blob.
yeah. Just really
Exactly.
cool style and really, really awesome looking. And I mean, again, there's lots of posters I would want, but that one just I remember
That
it
one's
struck because
great.
it's so like such a unique take on like a 50s American
Yeah.
sci-fi movie. So yeah, I like that
the
one.
Italians do amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And there's so many of my favorite posters which are Italian. The one that I would like is an Italian one, and it's not really that expensive.
Yeah.
But I think Rob Cohen has one. But it's an oversized Planet of the Apes.
Oh.
And it's beautiful. It's big and it's really colorful.
Italian?
Italian,
Really?
yes.
Wow.
And what you see in it is there's like this whole kind of vista of Ape City, and Taylor is being manhandled by the gorillas.
Right.
And it's just this big, as you said, James, it's like a mural.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
And it's so beautiful. And I've seen it on eBay, and I want to say it might go for these days maybe around $500.
Yeah.
But it's great. And again, that's the type of thing where I would make room for it.
It's funny that you should say that because typically American posters, that's what most people want. is an American one, and that's why all the foreign ones are less money. However, that particular poster, it's so bright and colorful. It's actually so much better than the
So much
American
better.
Planet of the Apes.
Right.
The first the first Planet of the Apes one sheet is pretty dull.
It's dull. No, Matt,
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree. I mean, I would want it because it's like, oh, this is one of my favorite
Piece of
movies.
history, yeah.
But the one that you're talking about, I've seen it and it's gorgeous. It's just beautiful and colorful. Even
Where's that original art?
well, it's funny.
Where's that painting?
Yeah, I wondered.
Yeah,
I
really.
wondered.
That's what I would like.
That's what keeps me up at night.
God
Jolene,
bless
how about you? Is there a movie poster out there that you'd like to get?
I can't. The only thing I can
Chitty,
think of
chitty,
right
bang, bang.
now is
Lenny Riefenstahl?
I mean, I'd like to have a poster of the movie my dad was in.
Oh yeah, sure.
Last House on the
The
Left.
Last House on the Left.
I think
I mean,
that's-
only because I'm totally self-possessed and love my dad.
Of course.
Is
I
that the one
mean-
that had the campaign? It's only a movie. It's only
Yes,
a movie. Is that? I wonder if that was in the
yes.
poster too.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I-
Cool.
that's not beyond the realm
No,
of possibility.
I think that's
That's
reasonable.
true.
It's
I
not-
could probably actually possess that.
Yeah,
If I
you-
tried real
If you
hard.
looked, I'm sure you could find that.
There's
Maybe
probably
I'll work on
great
that.
European versions of it. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably interesting. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Which again, probably better than the American.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah.
Jillian, you got to go out there and start looking.
I'll try.
John,
I got really lucky where my wife bought this one. It was from 1931 called Aping Hollywood.
31, an original.
1931, yeah, it was
Aping Hollywood.
Aping Hollywood. She bought it for me, and it's kind of like it was like a Lance Link kind of thing, where the studio that would make monkey movies with chimpanzees.
Sure, right.
You've
I
seen it
remember-
at my
yes.
house.
Oh,
I got it downstairs, and
I've got a chimp western on 16. I
Is
It
it a
was-
short?
yeah. So see the yellow one, the poster right there in the middle. That's it.
oh, Sean's showing us a picture here.
So yeah, I don't particularly like my monkeys smoking. So whenever I see a monkey with his, yeah,
Well, it's a different time.
do. So when the monkeys aren't, and they're chimps, they're not monkeys.
Yeah, that's
no,
true.
chimps,
Right,
yes.
right.
But when they're not smoking, you're there. That's a great poster.
Yeah, I really love
monkey
this.
spanking another
Yeah.
monkey.
Yeah.
We're- you know,
Well, that happens.
Spanking's
You
okay.
get into
we're gonna have to post a picture of this
Spanking
one.
the monkey?
Czar.
yeah. So the great thing is, she got it for me and she framed it up, and she says,
Pretty awesome.
"I've got a treat for you." So I
I
walked
bet.
downstairs, and I pretended not to see it for 2 days, and it drove her crazy. And I don't.
You're
What are you
sadistic.
talking about? But yeah, it was way too generous and way too nice.
That's
That
awesome.
poster could be the alternate poster for Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, really.
Because what would inspire you to have a revolution than someone making you spank another ape?
That's hilarious.
But anything that someone says Planet of the Apes and it's an oversized poster of Planet of the Apes, you what? You just
okay.
automatically want it.
Sure,
you don't even know
sure.
what it is.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
All right, this is
It's a
great.
good one.
All right.
Jolene, how about
next?
pick another one?
Moving on.
Yeah, maybe we could pick somebody other than Matt's questions
All right,
here.
That wasn't
our
mine.
Next
Oh.
question. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, I don't recognize this writing.
What is the strangest sci-fi or horror toy you own?
It's a lot of
Wow.
toy ones.
Yeah. A lot
Seems
of
like
toy
it's
ones.
these are all aimed
Yeah.
toward you.
Yeah.
I know, really.
Yeah, well, I didn't write that one.
That's another good question.
Whose
though.
was this?
Not I.
It wasn't mine.
Wait,
wasn't
what?
mine.
So say it
What's
again.
mine?
What is the strangest sci-fi or horror toy you own?
This
What is
might
the
be an
strangest
old one.
toy that you
Yeah.
own?
Well, yeah, I
you
think
know,
it is.
we can't
one.
remember.
Who's right? Let me see. Is it my writing?
Oh, it is mine. But this is from the original. This is
yeah,
when we did
that's
this a year ago.
Take
Right.
that, sourpuss.
You guys
Finally.
actually saved these questions from a year ago?
Yeah, when,
Yes.
when
You had these saved? Where did you
Yes.
keep them?
Are you just meeting these guys?
in the
of
vault?
course they do.
I said at the beginning of the show, when we
They were
finished-
kept in an acetate bag.
No, I put them in a plastic bag in the skull. They've been in the skull for
Yeah.
a year.
Where else would you put it?
Fermented.
His home is in
so bad.
Mylar. Okay, so
Okay, Okay, I mentioned this before. I have a toy. God, I wish I brought it too because I just saw it
I
the
wish
other
you
day.
did too.
It's called the Magic Monster.
Oh, please.
And the Magic Monster, it's something.
12 inches.
Hell yeah.
Okay,
It's magic.
can I describe my toy?
Please describe your 12-inch toy.
one
What does it turn into?
Okay,
Is
it's
it
one
magical?
of these. It's called the Magic Monster. And when I
Why?
describe it to you, you are going to go, "Oh my gosh,
Please.
that
Okay.
is a magical monster!" And it's one of these things. I found it in, of all places, the Japanese Cultural Center in San Francisco at
Of
Pinocchio
course.
Toys and Gifts.
Pinocchio?
Okay.
Did you say Pinocchio?
I did.
Pinocchio.
There was
Gross.
There was a Japanese toy store called Pinocchio's Toys and Gifts.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
Okay,
bring
so
it.
anyway, I go in the store. I'm looking at, they have these great Godzilla toys and other figures, and there is this box with a little thing that says the Magic Monster. And what it is he's about 10 inches tall, and he's hard plastic.
Hard.
Okay,
All right,
and
okay.
he's got a little arm that's holding a
Little?
little red axe
Oh.
in his right hand, and his face. What it is, there are these 3 prongs that have a rubber face on it. When you turn it on, it moves back and forth, and the little prongs move, and the rubber face goes.
Why was this on the floor? This sounds like the greatest toy ever.
It is, and the axe lights up. But the best part. So he turned. He goes like this. His axe lights up. His face goes like this. It plays music, and the music is When the Saints Go Marching In, which is so bizarre. It's so out there. I remember seeing this and go, this is so bizarre. And so I bought it. It wasn't very expensive. And the great thing about it is you could pull the rubber face off,
Yeah,
and
you
you could
can.
put on another rubber face. You could put on a different rubber face. And so I'm sure we've seen in a lot of toy stores that
It's
all these
Westworld.
all these rubber faces that you. And so I would put on other rubber faces, and it's awesome. Guys, I'm gonna bring it.
It
next
sounds
time.
great. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds wonderful.
Look, it's not like it shoots missiles. It's simple.
No,
it's
yeah.
It's got
very
an
simple.
axe that
Keep
lights
It's got
up.
an axe
Keep
that
it
lights up,
simple.
and it's called the Magic Monster.
Wow.
Wow.
Your Magic
I like
Monster is
that.
so amazing, you made me forget the question.
Yeah, what is the question again? I forgot it
Strangest
too.
toy.
What is the strangest
Strangest toys.
sci-fi horror toy?
Strangest.
Because
Strangest toy.
that toy that I have, it's strange. It's bizarre. I mean, it plays When the Saints Go Marching In, a little lighted axe, and its face goes.
That's good. That's
Come
Sounds
on.
amazing.
There you go.
All right, so I have one. This is one actually my wife got me for Christmas, I believe it was one year, and that is a little Matango mushroom man riding a tricycle.
Yes. Yes.
I have that
yes.
too.
I know
You do?
I have
Of
it
course.
too.
Of course you do.
Sean, yours just glows in the dark? It doesn't glow.
Mine
Mine
glows in the dark.
glows in the dark.
No, I think
Shit,
it
look
does.
out.
Yeah.
Glow in the dark Matango on a tricycle.
Matango,
Sean, I
of
think
course.
you've just been like one-upped.
No, I think mine glows in the dark as well because we have.
Oh,
It's
now yours glows in the dark.
There was a Godzilla on a tricycle.
Yes.
Which you had, and the same company put out a Matango, and the Matango, of course, is from Attack of the Mushroom People, a classic Toho film.
Duh.
But-
And the strangeness of the fact that a Matango creature would be riding a tricycle in the first place, and it has a little bell, and it's really cool.
You wind it up, and
Yeah,
the bell,
yeah, it's really cool.
It goes,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
can turn the little handlebars, and
Yeah,
it can
yeah.
go around in a circle, or it can go
It's
straight.
amazing.
I've
It's
You
great.
married very well.
Yeah. I have become very, very attached to any of the tricycle monsters.
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
have.
Yeah.
They're pretty
And I
awesome.
want more now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
There are a
funny.
lot of tricycle. These are
Oh,
monsters
oh.
that ride tricycles.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get
There's a whole
this,
series.
Jolene. This was done years and years ago. By the way, I have the whole Godzilla set. I have all 3 Godzilla tricycles.
Wait, what's the third one?
There's a yellow tricycle, a red tricycle,
Oh,
and a
but
green
but
one.
is
And on the green one, that Godzilla glows in the dark, and I have that. Take that! Yeah.
Is there a
Okay,
third
well,
monster?
I wasn't
though?
making this a contest.
Is there another
but-
monster though? Or is it just so far just Matango and Godzilla?
There's an Ultraman.
There's
an
Ultra
Ultra
Man, there's
Seven,
Ultra Seven, there's all kinds of them.
And it's like this
They're
was something that
fabulous.
was done years ago. Believe it or not, they actually did some superheroes. There's actually a Captain America from the '60s on the same type of tricycle. It's a
wow.
very simple concept. This little tricycle, put a character on it, and it's like getting the license
I
for
find
the.
this very interesting. Like
Oh.
these like strong superheroes who have these powers,
Yeah.
but yet ride tricycles.
But the
There's
best part,
just something
the-
and
kitschy
that's-
about
Well,
it.
Captain
that's-
America doesn't fly.
No,
He's got to get
but
places.
Jolene, what's so
Gets
cool?
worse
He has
somehow.
that motorcycle. but
What's so
Yeah.
cool about
when
the
he's not riding the Quinjet.
What's so cool about this toy too is the box that his toy
Yeah,
came in.
the box is really cool.
An artist painted this gorgeous
Yeah, they're
picture
beautiful.
of this Matango
Yeah.
on the tricycle.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
It's like action packed.
Yeah, it's
All
pretty cool.
right.
Wow.
It's good.
Yeah.
And that qualifies as pretty strange.
Yeah,
I think.
okay,
Yeah.
Matt, do you want to? Are you going to throw in your Matango, or you got another one?
Well, there is that one's great. But now I have talked about in the past. This is one of my favorite unusual toys. It's a vintage one, and there's been a couple different versions of it, but it's called Frankenstein Loses His Pants or Drops His Pants.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
it's this thing where, and it's you would see it advertised in Famous Monsters of Film
Yep.
Land.
Oh yeah, right.
And it's this great toy. It's like half vinyl,
Yeah, half
half
tin.
cloth and
Yeah,
tin.
yeah.
But it's electronic thing, and you press a button, and it's got this Frankenstein monster, which is not like your classic Frankenstein monster. He's got a bald head. It's someone's interpretation
Yeah.
of a
Right,
Frankenstein
right.
monster, but it's cool. It's great.
The aged Frankenstein.
It's
Bald.
right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. He hasn't been doing his sit-ups, and he's kind of let himself go.
Likes bread.
He like who doesn't like bread? Oh God, I could kick some bread's ass right now. But so you press a button, and Frankenstein looks very intimidating. He's and his face is green. There's a little light bulb inside his head that's green. All of a sudden, at one point, the pants drop,
As they do.
and he's wearing striped boxer shorts. And his pants go down, and now he's embarrassed, so the light now turns red.
Hilarious.
And then it shuts off.
What causes the pants to drop?
It's just
He doesn't have a belt.
He doesn't have a
Invisible
belt.
Man.
He's recently...
I got you again.
Oh, that invisible man. Him and his pranks.
Now, what's interesting is this toy. There was an early version, which
Bunch
was
of different versions.
Yeah, a bunch of different
This is
versions.
so weird.
There was one that was made in the early '60s that was kind of very Frankenstein-esque, but then in the '60s there was a mod, what they called the mod.
Yeah, well,
Frankenstein.
as like kind of a Nehru
jacket.
Which is the one that I like.
Yeah.
It's the one that I have,
And-
and the one that I like the best.
It came with a
Wow.
necklace. Do you have
There's
the
a ne-
necklace?
the necklace is somewhere.
Is this
Okay.
the Metro Frankenstein?
What's that?
Metro
No.
Frankenstein? Because he has
Oh.
a necklace.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh,
And he
Well,
drops his
it's
pants.
groovy hip.
Groovy
Yeah.
Yeah,
hippie.
yeah, yeah.
Happening.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that one I love. There's also, if I can just throw another one in that I haven't talked about, which
Sure.
is this one I'm not even necessarily a giant fan of this show, but I saw this animatronic bank. And for a while, they were doing a bunch of animatronic banks. There's like a Darth Vader, but a couple
Yeah.
different Star Wars ones where they kind of move. You know, you put a coin in and they do a
Right,
thing.
right.
But this was Gargoyles. Remember the animated
The
series
cartoon?
Gargoyles?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And so this is the main gargoyle. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
But he's the main gargoyle guy. And you put a coin in, and he's got it's kind of like what you were describing with your toy, Larry.
Yeah.
He has these things in his head that make his mouth move like
Yeah.
he's speaking.
Okay.
And so you put the coin in, and he just starts doing this spiel, and he goes, "Humans fear what they do not understand. Their ways are not our ways. We are not monsters. We are gargoyles." And then you hear the theme of the Gargoyles show. And I remember playing this in the store and going, "This may be the greatest thing humankind has ever invented." I was more moved by that speech in the toy store than many a one-man show that I've been forced to see. So
that's cool. I
I had
like
to
that.
have it. I still have it. It still works. It's beautiful. And I'll take some pictures.
Awesome.
Nice.
John, the strangest.
Skip.
Well, of course, from Sneakers, I have the Robert Redford doll with the shovel that sings. Well, it raps. It's the voice of Cool Mo D. The one that I had was my buddy Paul F. Tompkins. We found this. It was a cow alarm clock from Japan. And the alarm was, "Wake up, sleepyhead! You sleep your life away."
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes,
It was a cow, though?
but it was a cow, and that was what it would say to wake you up every morning. And
Wow.
Was it a Japanese person doing Arnold Schwarzenegger?
kind of,
Milk?
"Wake up, sleepyhead! You sleep your life away."
I don't know what accent I'm doing.
Was it a milk-producing cow?
No, it was just it was very Very cartoonish, but it was one of those things where you were so excited to go to sleep because you knew that was going to wake you up every morning, and you were so excited to show it to people. You just hit his two horns on his head, and it would do the voice.
That's so
And then
pretty awesome.
we just wore it out
Right.
of 7 months of doing it 14, 15 times a day, and then we just couldn't find another one.
Imagine that.
Jolene, do you have like any kind of strange
Hell
toy?
yeah. So the strangest toy I ever had when I was a child was this baby doll that you would give a bottle to with real water, and then it would pee. It actually would pee. Like water would come out of its vaginal area. You would give it a bottle you would put water in the bottle,
Right.
I think, and you'd put the bottle in its mouth, and then it would go through the body and it would pee.
So you had to clean it up like a mom would have to do.
I don't know.
What I want to know is how good of a mom you were. Like 3 days later.
I remember holding it over the sink. I don't understand.
so great mom.
I don't understand what you would do. Like, I only knew to hold it over this. Like, you had to hold it over the sink as you would feed it because it would go right through. So
Well, it's educational.
there were no diapers, you know?
They
So,
didn't provide
like,
diapers?
I don't remember diapers. I just remember being naked and feeding it a bottle, and then water would come out the bottom end.
It's probably,
Sounds great.
It's probably because it would happen so frequently that changing diapers just didn't make
Forget
any
it,
sense.
yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm
Right,
just gonna
right.
if I feed the baby, I'm just
But,
gonna squeeze it over the sink.
Isn't it interesting? Because like I would assume that most baby dolls, the idea behind them is to get you to be nurturing,
Right.
and to
Right.
that there'd be a part of you that would want to be motherly.
Yeah.
But if anything would put you off
Right.
being
Exactly.
it would be that.
Exactly.
Like, holy fuck.
I just
Never
remember-
feed this kid.
I remember that my mother wouldn't let me give it a bottle because it would make a mess because it would get water everywhere.
Right.
And then I remember her friend came over to like hang out and have a visit, and she would like sneak me a bottle with actual water in it.
No.
So that I could like play with the doll, and then water would come out of its vagina, I say with quotes, and you know, because dolls
What does
have
that
strange,
mean?
like sort of not real vaginas, just
Sure.
a hole. And
Could have been a vagina, could have been gills.
I just have
Who
this
knows?
memory of being in the bathroom over the sink, holding the doll over the sink with a
Wow.
bottle in its
Sounds
mouth
traumatic.
because the water would come out
Wow.
of it, and knowing that my mother's friend was letting me doing it, but it was somehow against the rules.
Oh, pissy Peggy.
Because it would make a mess. These are my
God.
issues. I'm sorry.
I've made all
remember-
the right
It would drive you
decisions.
crazy as a
Yeah,
kid.
oh my God.
That sounds like the worst thing to give to
Terrible.
kid. That's
Yeah.
the best thing to give like 11 or 12-year-old girl who's thinking of like, you don't want them having sex at all. Here's
I was
what's gonna
five.
happen.
I was,
One of them
I was
piss
like
dolls.
4 or 5 years old though.
Oh my God,
Wow.
that's horrible.
Yeah,
And I
they
knew
should-
that I was somehow breaking the rules by feeding this doll liquid.
They're
that would
sneaking
make
you
it pee.
water.
My mom's friend was sneaking me water
Please.
so that it
Like, I know this baby isn't real, but please, for God's sake, just feed it, please.
and it would somehow make a mess, and then I would be in trouble because it made a mess because I fed it.
Great
Well,
toy.
Wow.
These are my deep sea.
Here's some pudding for the baby.
All right, well, Jolene, give us another one.
Next question,
she
please.
sticks her hand into the skull and
Yes.
pulls out.
What is your favorite horror soundtrack?
Oh, I wonder whose that is.
This is not mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey,
Very good.
Wow.
Thank you.
Horror.
Yeah, I specifically
Horror.
said horror.
Horror.
Yes. Do you see that?
Wow.
I
Very good.
specifically.
God.
James, I
nice.
feel like you should
No.
start this off.
Well, I wouldn't even know where the hell to begin.
Yeah, that's
Really?
a hard one.
There's so many.
Well,
Yeah.
pick a favorite. Well, do you want me to go?
You go first.
Okay, well, I would say my favorite horror one has to be Phantasm.
Ah.
that's a great one.
That would have been my choice.
We would.
Yeah.
We're talking about.
love it.
We want to do a soundtrack show, but I have to tell you, this particular music is so cool. The movie was really neat and very unique. It was a low budget film, but the music really spoke to me.
It's haunting.
It is very haunting, and it's kind. It had I forget because there's this organ that kind of plays this melody, and then but in the background you hear this.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really kind of, it's like this dual thing, and it's very creepy. It gives me just chills just
Yeah,
thinking
it's
about
great.
it. But
great.
and I did have the record, and believe it, I
Yeah,
would
me
listen
too.
to it.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I would say
a great
Phantasm
That's
for
a good
my
one.
favorite soundtrack. Okay.
All right. Good one. Psycho, Bernard Herrmann.
Well,
This was one of the
That
first.
is a great.
You
yeah.
can, you can't touch that one.
And
No.
everybody was like, the shrieking violins with the shower scene, but
But it's the other
it's
rest
the rest
of
of
the
the
cues are
score
so good.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
from
I agree.
beginning to end.
Yep,
It's-
I agree.
it's
Kind of like the
wonderful.
Jaws soundtrack. Everybody
Yeah.
thinks of the dun 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 dun, but the rest of
Yeah.
the score is
And,
so
and
great.
those two albums were what made me a film music fan more than anything else.
cool.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's nice.
I would go anything by John Carpenter. Just
Yeah,
because
no,
I
love John
assume that
Carpenter.
he's just doing coke and he's got his
Yeah.
synthesizers around him. And
Right.
If you haven't seen the Big Trouble in Little China video, that's an
Oh,
extra,
yeah.
I believe, on the DVD or
Right,
on the Blu-ray or one of those. But it's him and his band.
Yeah,
And they're doing Big Trouble.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, can you pick? Can you kind of be specific? Can you just give us one Carpenter that you that kind of stands out?
I would do anything from Big Trouble and Little China.
Okay, so Big Trouble.
That's the
Great.
running
Okay,
stuff.
okay,
You
good.
know,
I
mean, his-
like, it's something I could listen to all the time
Ha-
going on.
Halloween,
Yeah,
it's
to
in
me,
its
Halloween.
in its simplicity.
Well, it's the simplicity
is-
about it.
is
yeah.
brilliant.
I mean,
Yes.
his early stuff, even
Agreed.
like I love the soundtrack to Assault on Precinct 13.
Yeah.
that has this like this badass like dun 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun,
well,
dun.
yeah,
It's like
Vince,
great,
that's great.
like,
I think
great
about
too.
it. That would
yes,
be
it's
my
repetitive,
favorite.
but it's like great, like urban city crime, like violent score. It's really
And
good.
the original Halloween and Assault on Precinct 13 were not released on album for years.
Yeah, yeah.
Halloween 2 and I think Halloween 3
Really?
came out before the original
Oh,
was
wow,
ever released.
yeah.
Finally, they decided to
Yeah,
release it.
and the Fog I love too. Because Fog is very similar to Phantasm a little
Yeah.
bit. Dun, 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 dun,
Right.
dun, dun, dun,
But yeah,
dun,
he
dun.
always manages to distill
Yeah, yeah.
the mood of that film into like 3 notes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
It's
what
not
it
a
seems
very easy instrumental type of stuff to listen. You wouldn't think it.
yeah,
it's
no,
as
you're-
lush and as fun.
No,
as
it's not
other
as complex,
stuff.
but
It's-
there's
yeah.
something about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now he's got this kind of like new renaissance. It's kind of like new career. Now he's not really making movies, but he's touring now.
He does the
He's
concerts.
doing concerts where he plays his
Really?
music. Yeah, he's put out albums. I think 2 albums now called like John Carpenter's Themes or something. Where it's all new stuff.
Does
It's
he
like,
go out with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
It's the whole thing.
In fact, I watched on YouTube him plugging the show on Jonesy's Jukebox.
Wow.
That was really entertaining because talk about the
Two guys that have lived a
two,
life.
and 2 worlds colliding too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Wow.
And I would love to go see one of those shows.
Oh, me too. I'd love to.
That'd be cool.
For me, I have to say that I have a really soft place in my heart for Dawn of the Dead.
Oh yeah.
The
course.
Goblin soundtrack.
Remember?
Yeah. Well, Goblin. Yeah.
And there's so many. It's funny too because that's a soundtrack where there are things that they throw in that are so cheesy, but I love them. For example, at the very end of the movie, when Peter is contemplating whether to kill himself or to escape and try to live another day. And the zombies are closing in, and all of a sudden he decides, "No, I'm gonna live." And there's this like I don't know what it is, like a dun 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 dun.
Which like stock music from a library.
No, right? It's like the A-Team or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it fills me with joy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
it's
it, and
good.
I love just gobbling across the board.
Yeah, me too. I was gonna say my top Goblin score. I know that Suspiria is always on many people's lists, and I love that score. But I love Deep Red especially.
Oh, great!
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's a great
because
one,
it's
too.
kind of jazzy, and it's just
Yeah.
there's something about Goblin and Argento together. When they work together, there's something so visceral about it, and so like heightened. There's
Yeah.
this heightened kind of violent and insanity to it. Like it just
gets you
I
right
don't know
down to
what
your
it is.
toes.
Yeah, it's there's these great set pieces in all of Argento's films of these killings and murders, and when it's to a Goblin score, it's incredible.
Can I also throw just an honorable mention to the library music for Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah.
Which has become so like ingrained in our minds.
I think
Yes.
it's really great.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Whoever that person is,
Yeah,
that
and you notice
music
how,
is
like-
very effective.
and like every once in a while you'll hear it on something else.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not Living Dead.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you just hear
I
it.
love
Yeah,
that music.
That's a good one.
Jolene,
I
how
like
about
that one.
you?
Dylan,
Is there
got any soundtrack?
Okay,
any
I'm
movie?
going to bring it back to me and my father because what comes to mind right now actually is The Last House on the Left. The main actor who played the bad guy, David Hess,
Oh yeah.
he actually was the music composer for that movie.
Really?
No.
Really?
And the music was really beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was very
Yeah, we're kind
you'll
of
have to
against-
listen to it for
against-
yourself.
was-
It was very
yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous music. And David Hess, who plays the main bad guy, who later had a career in porn, I will give
He's
him
great,
this.
though.
He was a great music composer, and he wrote the music for the score for that film, and
That's
it was
cool.
all right.
That's a good one.
I'll give him that. Yeah.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Well, this has been great. This has been so fun.
Yeah.
This has
Another
been,
winner.
I know.
Yes, awesome. A lot of good toy ones.
Yeah.
too.
Yes, yeah. And I had one in there that didn't even get picked. So, yeah, that's great.
So, do you want to do a quick lightning round?
Sure,
or
Let's do a double lightning round.
Ooh.
Double
Look
your
out,
money.
look out,
All right,
double out.
Jolene.
John, you're
Yeah.
okay
All
with
right,
that?
stick your she's
All right.
sticking her
Ready
hand in
for
the
it?
skull.
Ready for it? All
Yep.
right, here we go. What is, in your opinion, the best practical makeup effects movie?
Oh.
Well,
I'll bet we all agree on
I
this
think
one.
we kind of, yeah. Actually, I would say very close, almost a tie. John Carpenter's The Thing and Stuart Gordon's From Beyond.
Wow.
Because
That's a
as
good
far
thing.
as the practical, not
Yes.
the overall film, but like as far as the practical makeup effects, monster effects, those two are great.
Well, I was gonna say American Werewolf in London, and that was an Academy Award winner.
that's
That's a
fantastic.
and I remember seeing it as a kid. I know we've talked about Larry doesn't like it. Look, I do like the film, but when that whole transformation scene happened,
That was groundbreaking.
I mean, it was groundbreaking. It was a lit place. It wasn't dark,
Right.
And I didn't know how Baker was doing all those effects.
Yeah. That's
so
a good
to
one.
American Werewolf in London, practical effects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does Planet of the Apes count?
Sure,
I mean,
sure,
that's
sure,
what I'm
absolutely.
Sure.
thinking,
No,
you
I'm
know?
with you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with Planet of the Apes.
Still works to
The
this
original,
day.
the
Agreed.
original makeup
Yeah,
still holds
original.
up great.
Great
Yeah.
call.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would throw The Exorcist in there.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, of
So
course.
simple,
Especially for the
and
time, though, too. I mean,
petrified me.
Yeah, Dick Smith.
Still
Yeah.
terrifying.
It
to
still
this
holds
day.
up.
Yeah.
It still holds up. This was a film back in 1974,
Yep.
and it still holds up.
One of
today.
the only two movies my parents took us to as a family, that and Silver Streak.
God, really?
Yep, and my brother slept with a crucifix that night,
Of course he did.
hiding
Wow.
underneath his
Kinky.
red windbreaker the whole time going, why would you take me to this? Why would you take me to this?
Wow.
It still petrifies
No,
me, that
that's-
movie
yeah.
today.
Oh, yeah,
I
me
do have
too.
to say that is messed up that your parents would take you to see it.
Oh, big mistake.
Yeah, huge.
Big mistake, but we couldn't see soap. Crazy, man.
Can't watch soap. We'll take it to the Exorcist.
James, what about you, buddy?
I'm thinking of Alien and
Great.
Sure.
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Dawn of the Dead. Back to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. All good.
All right,
Those are
great. All
good
right, give us a
choices.
One more.
I'm
I haven't even had mine.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Matt.
Not trying to
sorry.
write me out of the show.
No. Jolene, don't go yet.
No,
we have
no,
to.
I'm not going. I'm not
Okay.
looking.
So the gold standard for me is, of course, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
But we all know that, so let's put that aside.
Okay.
I want to throw in Fright Night.
Look out.
Fright Night
yes.
has so many great
Lots
practical
of great effects. Yeah.
all
Yep.
the way through that
Really.
are really scary and weird, and it's a nice juxtaposition to the humorous elements of that movie.
Right.
Right.
And
right.
so there's a great vampire wolf transformation.
Yes.
There's
a bat monster.
a bat
It's
monster.
like-
There's
yeah.
also that great scene where Jerry Dandridge's assistant is impaled and then he melts.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
it's
that.
awesome.
That is so great.
He melts after being
He-
impaled.
Yeah.
Because he's not. He's a helper. He's not a vampire.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
I think he gets turned at the very last minute.
But it-
and so that's why he melts.
But what's so cool?
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
practical effect. It's not CGI.
Yeah,
That's what's
no
so great
CGI.
about watching.
and
it.
so you
Yeah.
see this skin melting
Yeah.
and just turning into liquid till the last thing that's left is just a bunch of bones.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just done so well. And I also want to throw in really quickly The Howling. The Howling is
Yes.
Yes.
Howling is
lovely
great.
Rob Bottin.
and doesn't get its just desserts.
Yeah. No, that's a great one.
All right, next one.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, this simply says conspiracy thrillers. There's no question per se.
Conspiracy thrillers. Okay.
Like
Conspiracy
Best and
thrillers.
Who wrote that?
That was mine.
Oh.
What's the great gaslighting one?
Gaslight,
Gaslight.
Gaslight.
which is
I
a
mean,
great
that's a
movie.
conspiracy
That's a good movie.
thriller.
This was
Would that be a conspiracy of one? I guess, right?
yeah. Well, this was a topic that I didn't think we'd actually get to do on an actual show.
Right. Right.
So it was
That's
one
a
of
good one,
those
though.
that might be good for a couple of minutes.
Mhm. Yeah. I think we've talked about this movie peripherally on other shows, but Capricorn 1.
Yeah.
I just love. It's a great movie.
love
It's
that movie.
It's like there's this planned mission to Mars, but it turns out that the last minute, NASA finds out, they actually don't have the money to go to Mars.
They couldn't do it. They couldn't pull it off.
But to cancel it now would be it would just ruin the company. It would be a horrible thing. So they tell the astronauts, listen, they actually send James Brolin and O.J. Simpson
And Sam Waterston.
all are get into the capsule, and then at the last minute before they're about to take off, the hatch opens. Hey guys, come with us, and they take them to this secret place. Say, look, this is the deal. You're gonna go into a fake capsule on a fake Mars set, and you're going to transmit back to Earth and say hi to your wives, and it's like, hey, it's all going
Is this
great.
like our moon landing?
That's
basically what if they fake the
right.
moon landing?
Right.
And it's a great idea, because what happens, they kind of reluctantly go along with you can't bail out now or ruin everything, So they do it, but then the real capsule that is coming back, that they send back to Earth, crashes or explodes. It's like, oh fuck! So now,
So what do you
they're
do?
dead. So they have to kill the astronauts, and of course they get whenever they have to escape. So it's a great movie, fun, a lot of humor in it. Great cast: Elliot Gould's in it, Telly Savalas, Karen Black. Really fun.
Everybody's in that movie.
And I know James. Fantastic Jerry Goldsmith score to that one. Really good score.
Really great score.
And another great conspiracy thriller with another great Goldsmith score from around the same time, Coma. With Jean-Pierre Bouchot.
I love
Coma is really good.
That is a great one.
medical-
Jean-Pierre
Underrated.
Bouchot. Yeah, that's a really good one. That's
it was
a
one
good
of my favorite movies as a kid.
Yeah, it holds up really well. Michael Douglas.
Michael
It's like
Douglas.
Jean-Pierre Bouchot finds out that mysteriously there seems to be a lot of patients in these hospitals who are dying from comas.
Right, who are going into comas.
Yeah.
And she investigates why, and then she gets... Tom Selleck is one of the first patients.
That's right. Yeah, Richard
early-
Widmark.
early
Do we need
role.
to say what it is, or should we?
No,
save it
no,
for-
No, it's because
I'd rather.
if you haven't seen it, it's
If
good.
you haven't seen it,
Yeah,
It's the
definitely
kind of
see it,
movie that's like this is like late 70s or mid 70s.
like 78.
But it's kind of like a low key thrill. Like it's not, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
a character driven, but don't expect car chases every 10 minutes. It's not that kind of movie. It's kind of an
It builds.
intelligent. It's all kind of Jean-Pierre Bouchot is the heroine. And it's kind of from her point of view, and she's like nobody's believing her, and she's investigating this on her own. It's really good.
And
though.
it's
There's some amazing set pieces too.
Yeah.
Really hammer the paranoia
Yeah.
home.
Right. And it's a rare case of a movie being directed by Michael Crichton that he did not write.
That's right.
It was based on a Robin Cook novel.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Good film.
Well, I was going to say this may be considered more of a thriller, but the classic, The Manchurian Candidate.
Good call.
God.
Great film.
Frank Sinatra,
Terrific.
and it's Angela Lansbury, and it's a great film.
Still holds up.
It still holds up, and it deals with politics, and a group of military people were actually captured by a foreign government, and they do this mind control on them.
Right.
And it's kind of a long
It's a
story,
harrowing
but
film,
it's
and the cast. I mean, let's talk about the cast: Frank Sinatra,
Yeah.
Lawrence Harvey, Janet Leigh, Henry Silva, James Gregory. But for people who have only known Angela Lansbury from Murder, She Wrote, she is so frightening in this film.
Yeah,
she
she
is
is
unbelievable.
She is
Stone
fucking
cold
fantastic.
in
Oh
her
my god, she's so
ruthlessness.
good in that
Yeah.
movie.
And without giving too much away, it has to deal with a foreign government trying to have influence within our government.
Right.
It sounds kind of
And Sinatra doing
You know,
Love and Marriage.
well. No. It's what's interesting is I've heard a lot of stories about the making of this. Like Frank Sinatra, during the time that he was making
Right,
it, he was an
he-
insomniac, and so they did a lot of filming at night. But the sets were all lit up to make it seem like it was day. But
Oh, wow.
also the other
Great
thing about
movie.
it is he was good friends with John F. Kennedy, and this has to deal with there's an assassination attempt with on
Right.
a political official. And Kennedy was all excited about Frank making this film, and then once Kennedy was assassinated,
Right.
Sinatra actually wanted to.
He halted the release,
He
right?
halted the release due to the effect of what America was going through at the time.
Right.
But it is such an amazing film. Would you guys agree with me that it still holds up today?
Oh, yeah, it
Even
really
though
does.
it's-
Well,
It's
it's part
so
of
good.
the Frankenheimer Paranoia trilogy.
yeah.
Yes.
Which
Seconds.
is Seconds
Another
was the
fantastic
final
movie.
one,
Yeah.
and then 7 Days in May,
Right.
Right.
which has a Rod Serling screenplay.
yeah,
Right.
all great movies.
But this is I think a fantastic conspiracy.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's great. Where I would go with this is the Stepford Wives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Al-
but be
also
clear.
sci-fi. But,
Oh my God.
But
To be
absolutely conspiracy.
crystal clear,
Yeah.
we're talking the 70s version with Catherine Ross.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Great.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
That,
Thank you.
That movie is done so well. And I just recently read the original story by Ira Levin. and it's very close to the original story,
Right.
almost beat by beat. And Catherine Ross is just amazing.
Yeah.
And it's so scary.
It is.
And it really
But
builds.
subtly scary. Like
Yeah,
it,
I mean,
you know, it,
the way this whole thing starts and where it ends, it really does just sprinkle dread.
yeah.
And it builds it and builds it. And I'm telling you, if you've never seen that version, I'm not going to tell you anything about it.
Yeah.
You got to go
Right.
see it. But it's so great. And it's the kind of conspiracy that is so horrifying because it's so personal.
Yeah.
It's not a government necessarily
No,
who's
it's-
doing these things.
it's like
Totally.
a club.
You know,
It's
yeah,
like a-
it's the people closest to you.
What's
Right,
bothersome is there's this later version done with Matthew Broderick.
I watched 3 minutes of that, and I was
I
like,
never
"This
saw
is
it.
the most horrible piece of
and
shit I've ever
it's
seen."
such a great story, and I just think they just missed it, you know, and they changed some things, which does not help. And so I would tell the listeners, don't see the Matthew Broderick version. Go, you, like what Matt said, you want to see the 70s version.
Yeah, a masterpiece in conspiracy horror.
Jolene?
What was the question?
The conspiracy thriller.
Conspiracy. Any movie with a conspiracy. You brought up Gaslight. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, a long time ago. I don't.
good
not
one.
recently.
Oh man,
I
that's
don't know
one
if that qualifies as a conspiracy.
I-
Like you
I
said, it was a
100%
one person
I-
conspiracy.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
No, because it's a one-person conspiracy where it's this person who is just messing with this woman's
Head.
mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
To make you second guess yourself when
Yeah.
you know what reality actually
Isn't that all
is.
relationships though?
Absolutely. That's my relationships anyway. I mean, the
All right.
ones that I'm attracted to, but maybe that's my issue.
John?
Would the conversation count?
Oh, that's
Yes.
a great one.
yes.
I love
that's
that.
Francis Ford Coppola.
That's one
right.
of,
That's-
that's
With
that's
Gene
one of
Hackman,
my
yeah.
favorite
And,
Coppola
and
I
films.
love
Robert
that.
Duvall and the girl who played Shirley.
Cindy Williams.
Cindy
Cindy
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah. Gene Hackman.
Boy,
is a
that's one of those
sound-
films. I'm
sound
watching it.
expert guy.
You think it's going one way,
True.
and
Yeah.
then it
Yeah.
totally spins. That totally freaked me out.
Yeah.
Great one.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's-
I mean, that or I was going to go with sneakers again.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to go with Grease. I think Grease is like the
I need to hear this.
conspiracy theory
I need to
film,
hear this. So
right?
please justify this theory.
You're going to challenge me. All right.
It's not the word.
No.
It is the word.
For one.
It all begins with the word, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grease is not
Grease
the
is
word.
the word. The
And-
word.
Okay,
And,
can I say one thing?
Yes.
Okay, because you brought maybe you're trying to make a little joke, but just recently. Now
Someone just put on their condescending hat.
No, I'm a fan, but just recently, someone has suggested that. Do you remember how the film ends?
Tell me.
The film ends where
right, yeah.
Sandy and Danny
Right.
they're
They
in a car
fly
and it
into the
flies up
clouds.
into the air.
it turns sci-fi
But
strangely.
well,
at
here's the thing:
end.
some people have suggested that what that is, it's actually a
Aliens?
dream as Sandy is dying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
because-
Why is she
why is she
dying?
dying?
Though?
That's just that's one of these theories that some people
Is there
have
something
because
that happens in the
'cause-
movie? Because
'cause
I don't
what-
know that movie that well.
because what happened? You haven't seen Grease, Matt.
seen it.
You and I have got to sit down. We're gonna
No,
sing
no,
together.
no, we
we're gonna
don't.
do the
And you're gonna watch
Yeah,
Grease
no, we don't.
too.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know.
I've
seen it.
Do you remember? Do you remember Danny?
not my scene.
Danny-
Love, if you attain this like strange aspirational ideal concept of love, then you can fly. Is
Okay,
that
well,
the-
I guess that's one interpretation.
I don't
Sure.
know.
I like
At the
them.
end-
I like her being dead.
Well, here's the weird
Make a
thing.
Wish Foundation
Some people,
were producers on this film.
some
a lot of people don't want
look,
to tell
I
you
don't
that.
agree with
Another
it.
conspiracy.
But some people had suggested, if you recall, Danny and Sandy have this argument, and so they kind of split up, and
Yeah.
Danny has to go and help do the car race. So the car race happens, and
Yes.
Sandy is up on the water thing,
Yeah.
Right.
and she's watching this from afar, and then she realizes, hey, I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you have to dress like a slut.
Well, this is
Exactly.
what everyone
Yeah, that's
says.
basically-
But
Which
what
she-
we don't know if she
does work.
if she thinks to
Yeah.
herself, I'm going to go and I'm going to commit suicide.
What?
Yeah, and so as she's dying, she dreams of herself becoming a slut.
Why did she commit
And
suicide?
I'm just
Are,
saying.
Larry, are these the same people who have all those theories about The Shining?
Yes,
Like this-
I think
okay.
so.
Yeah, I think it's the
so.
same people.
Did she
Yeah.
commit suicide in room 237?
No.
Is Sandy one of them?
Well, this has been great.
Now I want. Now I want to watch Grease.
John, Julie, thank you so much for being
Yes.
with us tonight.
Yes.
This has been a
Thank you.
lot of fun. This has been
Awesome.
great.
Absolutely.
We'll have to
Now-
do this again.
Yeah.
Now, John, did you have anything that you're working on? Another
Yeah,
napkin
go
book?
to my website, mattanapkin.com. Take a look. I put a napkin on the web all the time. Might be doing a kid's book with Ken Daly based on the site. And
That name is
Did
familiar.
you say a napkin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I draw.
In case we're dirty,
I know it's.
you can clean this up.
Yes, it's an actual. I grab a napkin from a fast food or a bar, and I draw a comic on it every day, and I've been doing it every day
For how
6
many
years.
years? 6 years. Wow.
And he
That's
has
amazing.
And he has a rule, if I remember correctly.
Can't buy them.
Yes, you
Gotta
can't buy
steal
them.
'em.
And you typically have your significant other get them for you.
I usually have Rose steal them. she's
Rose by any
fantastic
other
that
name?
way.
So
Yeah.
if I
Nice.
gave you
Yeah.
a napkin, that wouldn't work, right? Because that's
no,
a
I
gift.
can use it. No,
Oh,
gifts are fine.
Okay, all
gift
right.
Yeah.
gift napkins are good.
All
Okay.
right, cool.
What if I left some napkins out?
And I take them.
Yeah.
That's fine
That's
too.
better,
right?
That's
Okay.
even better.
Cool.
And
Okay.
Jolene, what about you?
What about me?
Is there anything you're working on, or
I'm
'Cause
working
I know
on
you're big on
staying alive.
That's a good thing.
It's a daily challenge, and
But
Jolene,
I hope
do
you
you have-
all are rooting for me.
but you're an
Always.
actress and you're making things happen.
I am acting to stay alive.
Yeah.
Nice.
You
That's
know,
good.
that's all
Cool.
we can do.
But JolineTowers.com, is there...
Yeah, sure. Go to jolinetowers.com and you can see what it is to be Jolene Towers.
All right.
And,
Nice.
I've lived it. And
It's a
you know
scary
what?
thing. That is the true horror film. My life is the true horror narrative.
Well, not here.
If you really want something scary.
Here
I think
you're...
that's the perfect place to be, a monster party.
Here
Yes.
you are a ray of sunshine.
That's right.
Yay,
In our
sunshine.
darkness. Well, this was lovely, and if I had my way, this would be like the 6-hour episode.
Yeah.
And I do want to tell you something, Matt. Believe it or not, we still have a big list of topics to go through, so we're gonna have to
Yeah.
save this
All of
for
your
another
topics.
time.
Part
Yeah, all-
three. Yeah, all of
no,
yours.
Actually, I'm surprised. I did get a couple in here.
Yeah,
so,
you probably got more than I did, so
All right.
maybe you should stop complaining forever.
Now, a year from now, we're going to reconvene and continue this.
That's right.
All right.
Perfect.
I look forward to it.
Okay.
So do we.
I got to work on my
Very
diet.
exciting.
Watch Sneakers, everybody.
Time for a listener shout out.
Shout out!
Larry, I think you have a story to tell.
Yes, I do. I do have a story to tell.
All right.
First, can I say who the shout out is to?
Please,
Please.
The shout out is to Keith Ruiz. Hey, Keith. Keith, hey man, I just want to say thanks for noticing me at the San Jose Super Toy Collectibles Show. This is that toy convention that Time Tunnel Toys puts on every 4 months, and I was there walking with my father-in-law. We were checking out stuff. Keith saw me and goes, "Larry Strothe from Monster Party." And I'm like, "Oh, it was so great."
You're
And he-
so used to that.
yeah, but it was great
Oh, the
because
paparazzi.
I tell you, and it was great because Keith had in his arms, he had a giant gremlin that he had just purchased in his arms. And
Oh,
he had
nice.
he had all this stuff, and he had to put it down. He goes, "Oh, I love your show. Can I take a picture?" I said, "Yes, let's take a picture." And it was
awesome.
so great, and we talked all about he loves Godzilla. He's watched our video. He's listened to all our shows.
Nice. Great.
And
Cool.
his dream is to hopefully one day go to Japan and go on a toy hunt similar to what we
Awesome.
did.
Well, hopefully
Cool.
we can make that dream come true.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But Keith,
That's
hey man,
awesome.
thanks so much for noticing me and coming up to me and saying hi. And we encourage all of our listeners, if you
Absolutely.
see us,
Yes,
at
come and
anywhere,
accost
please.
us.
Don't
No.
be shy.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it really will make our day.
Yes.
I know we can be intimidating, but please.
Just
Yeah.
our stature.
Yeah.
Me coming in at a towering 5'7"
Yeah.
can really put people off.
I also want to thank all the listeners who chimed in after the last episode featured a rap by Larry Strode.
That's right.
yeah,
the,
that
the
surprised
big
me.
bug rap, which many listeners were very pleased by.
Yeah, but guys,
Surprisingly.
look. I'm not going to be doing a rap for every show. Okay, I know a lot of you want it.
You have to save those little gems. Like,
Yeah,
just
no.
disperse them like evenly.
Listeners have asked, is this going to be a regular thing now? No.
Well, wait. I think they were saying it like, is this going to be a regular
Oh, yeah,
thing?
like that. Is this
Yeah,
going to be a
that's what they
regular
said.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although,
you don't want to be that person. You know.
One listener, Rob Lorich,
right, Rob.
commented, I give Larry's rap a 2 out of 5. It didn't have the word clown in it, which is borderline unforgivable.
That's true. That's true. Your next one would somehow have to have that word.
My answer to Rob was it's not Larry's fault. We installed a V chip that electroshocks him every time he says it.
Exactly.
Good answer. Is that something we can actually get?
I was gonna say, if only it was true.
If only. If
Yeah.
only. Well, let's also remind our listeners that you can find us on Facebook and YouTube at Monster Party TV. On Twitter, we are at Monster Party HQ. Our Instagram handle is also Monster Party HQ. If you're listening to us on iTunes, please take a moment, write a review. We would love to hear from you. And also, you can purchase the Monster Party cap, the official cap, on our eBay store, which is Monster Party Store. Easy to remember.
High quality cap.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And T-shirts coming.
Coming. We will announce it when they're up.
I want to give a special shout out to our sponsors at Creature Features. Yay! Creature Features, located at 2904 West Magnolia Boulevard in Burbank, California. Taylor, Eric, and Matt, they have a great store filled with all kinds of everything to satisfy all your monster needs. They have CDs and toys and models, and they have these art shows. Go to their website. It has all their information there about all the events coming up. It's a fantastic place.
Indeed.
I also want to give a shout out to Time Tunnel Toys. Hey, yeah, Time Tunnel Toys, located at 1583 Meridian Avenue in San Jose, California. Joe and Sharon, they have a great store filled with vintage toys, Star Wars toys, Godzilla toys. They have magazines, records, books, black velvet paintings. I know you like those a lot.
Cool.
But they also put together this toy convention that happens about every 4 months. It's the San Jose Super Toy Convention, toy collectible show. It's at the San Jose Fairgrounds. Go to Time Tunnel Toys, where it gives all the information.
Hey, can I throw in a little extra shout out? I would like to throw one out to Doug Jones. Because I don't think we really had a moment where we congratulated Doug on the success, especially at the Academy Awards of The Shape of Water.
Right.
Yes.
Totally.
And he is so wonderful, and I wish that he had gotten Best Actor because he really does just a superlative job.
Yeah, he's
And
amazing.
just to remind our listeners, if you're not really sure, we did a show with Doug Jones on our Monster Acting show.
Yeah,
it was
he
one
was
of our
awesome.
earlier shows. And Doug played the actual amphibian man creature in The Shape of Water.
And really just gave it so much grace and dignity, and I'm just so happy for the
Yeah.
success that he's having right now.
And that film, yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
Great film. I'm actually thrilled that it got a lot of success.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really happy that genre films are finally getting their due.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
On that note, I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry Stroth.
And I'm James Gonis.
Keep America strong!
Have your own topic free-for-all. And then have a pants free-for-all. That's what I'm doing now. Sorry, guys.
How many things have you bought two of in your life?
Hey.
Oh,
the,
like I have to figure
a
out.
question.
I have
Yeah,
to
that's a
figure
good
out.
question.
Like, what if I said like 1,000 or something?
Have you always been
sound-
buying
it'll
doubles?
sound
of
the
things?
No, not always. No.
I always wanted to, and
Yeah.
I've always
Can you hear it?
regretted the fact that I did.
Really?
You can hear?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I.
Test, test.
Hey, do me a favor. I want you to. I want you to put
you
the
can
microphone
take-
like
you
right
can
there
take it off.
and angle it.
You can pull it out.
Yes.
Test.
Yes.
testing,
There's that
testing.
voice.
Hello,
There's
hello.
that voice. Yeah.
Like I knew guys
tell
that
me.
always
How we
bought
good?
two from.
Maybe it'll raise me a little bit.
From
Yeah.
like at
Test, test. I'm Shawn
7-Eleven.
Sheridan.
Yeah. 7-Eleven.
Always
I
buy
am
two
Shawn
comics.
Sheridan.
Sound good to me.
Now, did
You
you
sound
see?
good.
I didn't
Okay.
buy two comics though.
You did?
It's like comics. I would get one, and I'd be very careful when I would look at it, and then I put it in a plastic bag.
See, like that's the thing. Like, but that's what's unique about you, Larry, is that even at a young age, as a little kid, you thought that way.
You were
Like, when
Felix Unger. I mean,
yeah, but
I hate to
when
beat
I was
this
a kid,
into the
when I
ground,
got-
but you really were
when I was
Felix
10
Unger.
years
You
old
took
and got
care
a-
of your nice thing.
Yeah, but when I was 10 years old, if I got an action figure, I couldn't wait to rip it out of the package and
Yeah.
play with
Always.
it.
No,
Were
see,
you a
I mean,
neatnik too?
No.
Like
See,
when it came to
here-
just like keeping
this
your
is-
room clean.
You guys are missing the point. This is the
What else
reason
is
why.
new?
No, because John's asked a very good question. I'm just going to answer.
Yes.
One of the problems I think is because I came from a large. he's still working. He's still trying to figure stuff out here, because
Here I am working. Dun, 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 dun,
because
dun.
I'm from a large family,
Yeah.
so I had a lot of brothers and sisters, and the house was small, and it was tough to have like your own little space or your own little area, or what was yours if you got for your birthday. I mean, it was precious. It was special, because a lot of us got hand-me-down clothing, hand-me-down toys,
Sure.
and so if you got something that was yours, I didn't want anyone else to play with it. I want it just for me. I didn't want it. It wasn't so much that I didn't want to share. Well, I guess I didn't want to share, but it was like
Were you
because
a fast eater too?
yes, we had to.
You
be.
had to be.
We had to be.
wow.
How many kids in your family?
3 total.
Okay, 7.
Yeah.
And
Kids.
so it's like, so when mom and dad put 2 chickens cut up in pieces, put on the table, you grab
Yeah.
what you could, and if you didn't act fast enough, you got stuck with the neck. And then this was a typical thing. This happened all the time, but it was like every night someone would throw up. Typically, it was
they
like
ate
the
too
young.
fast?
No. I don't know why my parents did this. My parents would always get the grossest vegetables, and we all had to eat the vegetables or have some vegetables, and it always came down to it was either.
Nobody knew how to buy.
So no.
Our
So
parents
no.
didn't know
So
how to buy.
so
Canned-
the thing
canned
is,
corn.
so my parents would make you eat that. You're going to eat that, and
course.
so you would eat it, and like clockwork. It was like either my sister would throw up, my younger sister, my younger brother would, and it was like,
Stress of
and
being yelled at to eat
probably,
while they're
look, we were all fucked up, man. And it was like, I remember my sister one time, because she had done it so often, she tried not to throw up, and she put her hands together like this.
And it went through.
And it went through, and it spurt like a fountain.
Yeah, that's
but
a bad
what
one.
does that have to do with getting 2 of everything? I'm just saying that because having something that was yours was like precious. So it's like going, my precious. So I'm thinking psychologically, that's what's happened to me.
Please don't think
But you bought
psychologically.
2 of these when you saw it. Did
I'm
you
just-
go that I think I need that as a set?
No,
Or I want to
no,
back up.
No, because what happened, that was in the early 70s, and I got 1, and then I think my brother got another one. But I think what I did is after we played with him for a little bit, I think mysteriously his skull
course
kind
you
of,
did.
went to be protected or saved or something like that.
Hello.
Hello.
Everybody's levels sound nice.
Jolene,
Guys,
Can you
let's
guys,
hear you.
Hello.
You sound good to me. I'm going to turn you up.
Can you guys hear
No,
me?
are you comfortable? Now, can I make a suggestion?
yeah.
Hug it.
Can I make a suggestion? You know Elvis, right?
You can
You can hold. You can
you
hold.
can hold it if you want.
Elvis was a racist.
No.
That motherfucker was
Wait.
simple and
Oh.
plain.
Okay,
Oh, that's from a
we,
song?
Once we
Yeah.
start this too, we're gonna have to keep the skull over
yeah,
by her. But
good.
that's for the first in the beginning.
Two.
I'm sure. I'm
here we
sure
go.
Matt is going to explain to Jolene what to do with the skull.
Jolene,
Hey,
do
come
with
on.
it
Matt,
what you
you
will.
like the skull?
No, because this. So this is our special skull, but
Want me
maybe
to
this
dip
is.
the skull,
But
apparently.
you know
That's
what?
what it looks like
I
right
tell you
here.
what. Why don't we save this for the show, the explanation?
Two.
Yeah.
So
Test,
we'll go
test.
when
Two
Matt's ready.
shoes. 2 shoes.
And also remember, Jolene, you got to really hug this thing
Like you're on your hey.
like you're hey,
Get in
you know,
there.
Test.
No, real,
you don't have to be
FM
like that.
DJ kind of a thing.
Comfortable. Hey, you're comfortable. You're swinging. Hey,
That was always my
casually
Dr.
cup it.
Gonzo.
we want to make sure that we
two
hear you.
shoes. 2 shoes. 2
I'm
shoes.
trying to be all
This
like
is my number one. This is my number one. Isn't this a lot of fun?
And if I could just say one thing, like it's normally a Matt Weinhold thing, but
Yeah.
let's all try to make sure that we give each other time to speak.
Oh my God! It's a new era for Monster Party. What's happened to Larry? Who replaced him?
Yeah, I've turned over a new leaf.
Have you now? We'll see.
Yeah, I'll see how long this lasts.
You know what's
Well,
funny
if I
is
hear it.
I listened to a show recently when I said that exact same thing.
I know, really. I'm sensing a pattern.
Turn me up a little bit more.
Okay.
Turn me up to 11.
You have notes?
You sound great. I don't know. I don't know why you
Okay.
never
No.
think
How
that your
can you have
levels.
notes?
Have
No,
you
no.
ever listened to an
Topic
episode,
free-for-all.
Sean, where you sounded?
Yeah, that's
there you
true.
go.
You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
there you
Okay.
You're very generous with him.
Okay.
Okay. Ready, clowns? Here we go.
Yeah. He's
really,
just straight-
really.
Sean
You
had to
gotta
straighten up the little skulls.
Who isn't obsessive compulsive here? Unbelievable. Sean Sheridan setting up the skulls into a perfect
Cool.
pool table arrangement.
It's a theme. Skull. The topics in skull. Other skulls.
So the theme is skull.
No, it's
Scary skulls.
Man, we got to do
We don't
monster
have
therapy
one.
again very soon. It
Okay.
is so needed.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, because someone has to walk a dog soon. So
Let's do it. What's the line of in Scarface?
What?
well, there's a lot.
There's a one that's like something of.
Can't you
Say
ever
hello to
stop
my little
saying
friend.
Fuck?
Say hello to my little friend.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, that yeah.
What is
But
it?
no. But I meant the either way is like something of fuck.
Well, his wife is like, fuck. Can't you ever
Never
stop
say
saying
it.
fuck?
Yeah. Michelle Pfeiffer.
Brilliant script.
Yeah.
And then he says something about pelican. Look at the fly, pelican.
Come on, pelican.
Oh wow, that's very good.
Oh, don't get me started. Hofferbogard, Eshkagni, I like those guys. Baggage hollers, I'll kick you monkey ass.
Is that what he says?
I got octopus coming out of my ears.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, that's pretty good, James.
Yeah.
First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the woman.
I've only had coffee once in my life.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
You just don't
How did you
interested?
feel about it? You didn't like it.
I didn't care. I'm not a big on hot beverages.
So tea? What about tea?
What if it was a nice
no,
coffee?
I would love to like coffee. I would love to
What
love
about
tea.
frappuccinos?
Don't care for it.
So it's
But I love hot chocolate, but I gave up chocolate a couple years ago.
Wow, so no kind of hot beverage really at all.
No.
Like cider, apple cider, or.
No, but I've had those
so when you
buy
get cold,
drinks
when
now.
you get cold, you don't want to
they
like.
have buy drinks. Are they like
BAI?
they try anything? Or they have canned
It's like
drinks?
no, it's more like a. It's more like the amount of caffeine or hypey of like a cup of green tea. But and like I don't drink soda anymore either. So I haven't like I have friends that
Do you
have,
drink
like,
liquid at all?
yeah. Oh no, I love being. I just had no control. Where you're going? Yeah, I shouldn't have 6 root beers.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who don't drink soda at all, but
Yeah.
I don't think we're supposed to.
No,
Just
I
like
mean-
I really don't think we're supposed to drink milk after our mothers stopped developing it. But
I
that's
stopped
just
drinking
me.
I
milk
don't
too.
like milk. I mean,
I like soy
I never-
milk and almond
like,
milk.
Yeah.
I mean, if I cereal, I have milk in my cereal, but I don't
Here's my answer.
don't drink milk.
Yeah.
Is that we should eat the fact that we drink another animal's
Exactly.
milk is good because we're smart. We're smarter than other animals.
Come on here.
We see food. Like, where can we get some more food from that cow?
Okay, so that makes sense back in the day when we had a food shortage, and so then we would drink the milk from other species for nourishment. But here's what I don't get, okay? Why do people think that it's disgusting, the thought to drink milk from another human woman, but they will drink milk from another species? Like
have
they
milk
will
from a
drink
woman.
milk from a female cow, but not a female
Is it as-
human.
Well,
Wait, is this a topic?
Yes,
It is
we
now.
changed
Is
the
it
topic.
pasteurized? Is it as I've had breast milk before. It wasn't that tasty.
It's just not as tasty as another species of milk.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't as tasty as even almond milk.
Well, right.
Yeah.
That makes more sense to
Okay.
me.
Well, this is great. Are we ready to move on to the next?
Actually, I need one more.
I want to
Okay.
know if you would drink another a human's milk.
Sure.
Like today
Yeah,
now.
Larry.
Yeah.
This is my idea.
And just anyone.
This is my idea for
Whoa, whoa,
for a sci-fi
wait.
movie.
Are you when you say just any woman? It's like some like.
Well, do you know the cow you get your milk from? Or is it just any cow?
Well, here's the. Okay. Well, here. Let me tell you something. I know that cow is probably a very clean cow.
Oh,
Do you?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't wanna go to that place to see
it done?
The milk,
Tested?
the milk is. I'm sure. What do you think? They just take the milk out and then throw it in a carton? No,
they don't
the-
give a shit how
No,
they do it. When you
no.
find out how milk is brought places, there's gasoline in those things. They run water through it, and then milk on the way back. It's horrible.
Damn.
Do you know if you go into a supermarket, other than baby food, nothing. The FDA has nothing to do with anything in there other than baby food.
Really?
Yep.
What?
Everything is like when you see.
What about like meat? It's like
What
like
about the
It's
baby?
all done by the supermarkets. They decide what the dates are for everything. It's not run by the FDA. The government has nothing to do with it.
This is the real horror show, people.
Yeah. It's crazy as shit.
Wow.
How do you know all this?
reads.
Read, and then Craig Doyle and I got really obsessed with. I got really obsessed with supermarkets and end caps and how they do the whole psychology of how supermarkets are set up. That's how casinos learned from supermarkets.
Did you read?
To make you go through to the back.
Did you
Oh,
read
right.
stuff?
Fast Food Nation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Everything is built to really screw us
Well, yeah, I
in the
I
best way
believe.
possible. That's why I find the inane and silliness of life delights me more.
Yeah,
You know, because
totally.
everything is so. If you start looking at everything that's so
It's- yeah,
stacked
it's
up
a horror
against
show.
you,
Yeah.
it's more fun
Yeah.
to go to
Put blinders
Wakanda.
on.
Yeah. Yes.
You
right,
know?
right.
Okay, so
I
let's
agree.
escape to sci-fi.
Yeah.
Whoa!
We
Hang
wait for
on.
our host.
Yes,
Again.
yes.
Do you want
Yeah.
another refill?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Do you
I'm
want
gonna
a
drop
water?
another. Yeah, I'd love a water, please.
All right.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I put ice? Do you want ice in it?
Just plain old water.
All right, it's coming.
Thank you,
coming.
friend.
No gasoline, no milk.
How did you not go
I don't
see
know if I
Black
should
Panther
drink
yet?
I'm behind on a lot of movies right now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
I
the new
got-
Star Wars.
Me neither. I don't know why. It seems like a stuff
a
that
lukewarm
dads are
reaction and-
more excited than their kids to see these movies now.
I'd like to
Yeah,
get back
yeah.
to milk if we could. Okay. King Kong,
Thank you.
Godzilla,
Wait. Okay, I think
Gamera.
Jolene is.
Whose milk would you drink?
Well, Kong is the mammal.
I think Gamera.
I'd go Kong.
I prefer nut milk. All right.